Hold on. What's up, everybody? Wait for the intro. Be patient. Don't rush us. Why you rushing? Doing too much. All right, now we're ready. We're ready to go, ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
I don't know who started this thing, but one of you viewers tried
They
to
don't-
start this thing early. You can't start this early.
Yeah, they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, we got to prepare. We got to be ready. We got to come in with the intro. So whoever's producing behind the scenes, we need a new producer. Watch out. I'm telling the boss.
Getting fired.
Getting out of there.
Boss
Getting
about
out
to
of here.
boss about to fire himself.
Right? I'm about to walk out of here. But this is Too Generic, back at it again with your host Cam and
Rich.
And we got a new addition to the studio. The
One-
Allen Iverson logo man.
Yep.
So I've kind of been re-getting into basketball cards again, tapping into my childhood, me and Ritchie's childhood of ripping packs and collecting players we love and cards we like. But, you know, I wanted to get a poster that kind of reflected that. It's fake, obviously. Cards aren't this big. It's
Right.
just a blown-up version of it. But the Logo Man is one of the rarest cards you could get because they actually take the Logo Man off of the jersey and it's authenticated and things like that. So I thought it'd be pretty cool. Grab a poster, and I want to start building up this wall, try to get some other things, and then maybe put some posters on here. Get a little bit more theme instead of just a plain background. Ritchie's got a whole room full of stuff. It's just I feel like you just angle the camera a little differently. You can't see it. But Ritchie's entire room is memorabilia.
I got to set it up one of these days.
Got to set it up. Anyway, too long talking, but we're here for Eastern Conference Finals, mainly to talk about the Celtics and how that series is going. I think we could actually wrap that one up rather quick, put a bow on it. The Western Conference Finals, the WNBA, and then we could talk some UFC 302 for next week as well. I think those are the three main topics: NBA playoffs, start of the W, and then upcoming 302. But let's kick it off with the Celtics. Last night, 3-0, basically closing it out. I think it's going to be a sweep. How did you see last night?
Last night I saw that we could easily be down 2-1 in this series. Mm-hmm. And the Pacers are giving us the series because game 1, they were down by 5 inside 2 minutes. Game 3, they were down by 5 inside 2 minutes, trailed by as much as 18, down by 9 at the start of the fourth quarter. And the Pacers just gave it to us. And we talk about, Drew Holiday being Vegas. He scored the last 5 points for the Celtics. So he came through in a major way, and he was struggling all night. And as much as I knocked Tatum was really good all night. He scored 12 in the fourth quarter. But yeah, I couldn't believe. I mean, that was ridiculous. And the other thing was, I wasn't worried about the Celtics being down by double figures at any point in that game because I knew they would come back. I didn't necessarily know they were going to win, but they're not going to get blown out, especially by the Pacers. I knew they were going to make it close at the end, and that was what they did, and they pulled it off. But I think that their defense has been horrible this series too. I mean, they've let so many points inside the paint. I mean, they just had so many defensive breakdowns, so many easy buckets for the Pacers in the paint. They outscored the Celtics 68-40 in the paint last night. But yeah, I don't know. The Nembhard had a career high had a career high in the regular season or the playoffs for him last night. McConnell had a playoff career high. And yeah, it was just a wild game. It doesn't give me any more confidence in the Celtics team. I think if whoever they go up against in the Western Conference Finals when they make it to the NBA Finals, whether it's the Mavericks or the Timberwolves, I'm not too confident in this team right now.
Yeah, I agree, and so does the chat. King Neptune 420 says he agrees, and he's loving the Holiday defense, which, I mean, that's what he's known for. That's his calling card. And when you have a whole bunch of young guards and kind of unproven guards, I'd include TJ McConnell in there, just not being on that next level, always this certified bench guy, always one of the best point guards off the bench you could bring, but not being that championship caliber starting point guard. that Drew Holiday is. Drew Holiday is that version of of TJ McConnell,
Yep.
the starting version. And it just goes to show when the playoffs start and the refs throw the ball up, this is how it's going to be. And I think, you got TJ McConnell, Aaron Nemhart, and Andrew Nemhart. Aaron Naismith. You got some guards, but really, that's not their spot. They're missing Tyrese Halliburton and Benedict Mathurin.
Yep. They've missed in the whole playoffs.
The whole playoffs, and that's going not spoken of, is they're missing like a real heat up guy off the bench too, who could potentially start. Benedict Mathurin could be a star in this league one day. He's still very young, but if you're getting cooked by Nemhart and McConnell off the bounce, and they're just blowing by Derek White and Drew Holiday at times, it's very confusing. But yeah, like you said, if you're gonna go against Kyrie and Luka next, and Nemhart is giving you stress, my God,
And then I worry about if you go up against the Timberwolves in I was going to say size, so I'm going to say pause already, but the size that they have on their team. You're going to how are you going to defend Gobert can't play offense, but how are you going to defend Towns? How are you going to get rebounds? And we don't really know if Porzingis will be ready in time for the finals. We hope, but we know those strains really have to, wait a long time for. We saw Giannis wasn't even able to play in the playoffs this year because of his calf strain. So I don't know. I really worry about if they have to play the Timberwolves. They just have so much height on their team, and their defense is so good. They haven't done a great job trying to slow down Luka and Kyrie, but they're two different beasts there. And then if you go up against the Mavericks, they've actually played pretty good defense on Minnesota. They've made it really difficult on, the 2-star players for the Timberwolves and Towns and Edwards. So I don't know. I just don't really like that matchup.
And then, flip side, you got Mike Conley, Anthony Edwards, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker.
Yeah.
Those are all guards better than Nemhart and TJ McConnell and Aaron Naismith.
Yeah, and they've both played really good defensively. I think Conley and Walker.
My cat knocked over the wall. I heard him scratching, and I wasn't going to react to it, but I seen it falling.
Sonny doesn't agree. He thinks the Celtics are taking the finals this year, I guess.
Sonny, you got to mess up, bro.
My fault, bro.
He was over here not agreeing with your takes.
Never mind. I think the Celtics are going to win in 4. Forget it.
Celtics are sweeping. Sonny was upset. He said, I got money on the sweep.
They're sweeping the Pacers and the Wolves. My fault.
Damn cat.
But, yeah, I don't know. It just seems like the same Celtics team to me, unfortunately. I think they'll. I had the Celtics in 5 before the series started. Now it probably seems like they're going to take it in 4, whether or not Halliburton returns. But yeah, I'm not too confident in them going into the final.
I think they were supposed to steal game 1, and then it got so wonky at the end where it just got messed up.
Yeah.
And Halliburton tweaks his hamstring game 2. Money on the finals bet. Yeah.
They should have. And like I said, the Pacers could easily be up 2-1 right now. They really could.
Yeah.
They were up. If it wasn't for Jaylen Brown hitting that big 3 in the final seconds, and then who is it? Halliburton had that bad turnover. Pascal Siakam had a bad turnover in the 4th quarter. They practically gave him the game, and Tatum was, Tatum. If you look at it in the end, where is it here?
But it was bad.
Yeah,
I want to say it was 4 minutes. Game 1 we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the last 5 minutes to maybe 30 seconds, Tatum couldn't do anything.
Yeah, that's what, like, if you look at the Tatum numbers on paper, they don't look terrible. 36 points, which was his postseason high, 12 of 26 from the field, above 40%, not great, not terrible. 2 of 8 from 3. He's been horrible from 3 all postseason. 10 of 12 from the free throw line. He had 12 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, turned the ball over 4 times. But so you look at those numbers, they're not really that bad. But if you were watching the game, he wasn't great in the 4th quarter. But then in overtime, he finally stepped up. He had 10 overtime points. And I think they said that's the most by any player in an overtime playoff game since 2021. So he was kind of able to make up for it. And no one was really talking about how poorly he played thanks to Jaylen Brown hitting that shot. And then obviously he stepped up in overtime and helped the Celtics close out the game. But again, the Pacers could have easily taken that one.
Mm-hmm. No,
So
I definitely heard some of the whispers about Tatum being overrated and everything else. They won game one, and there were still definitely people lashing Tatum and saying, like, he's not up to the caliber. This is why he's not an MVP candidate. This is why he's not a top 5, top 10 player, yada, yada, yada. I think he's up there, but yeah, he just doesn't have this, like, defining quality that people are like, oh, he's unstoppable,
well,
Like, Luka is just this unguardable force. Jokic is unstoppable because he makes everyone around him better. He gets everybody open. Steph Curry could always get himself open. What is Tatum's calling card? And it's just he's above average at everything.
He is.
You know?
In those big moments, he doesn't always necessarily show up, and I think that's
Right.
the difference between him and these other young stars in the NBA. But he had 12 in the fourth quarter. He had 12 in the fourth quarter last night. He had 10 in the overtime in game one. So, I mean, that's got to count for something there.
Yeah, and you could kind of feel it with Tatum early. I feel like he was facilitating early in the first quarter. He was getting a ton of touches, just getting comfortable with the ball, finding guys, finding Horford early at the top of the key. And then, he found Horford all night, right?
Yeah, that was
just slashing, cutting, and then spraying out the shooters. And that shooter just seemed to be Horford. I feel like he hit at least 3 threes off of a Tatum assist.
Yeah, he had 7 in total, and that was a career high for Horford in the regular season or the postseason.
Right.
That was a monster night for him. I also like when Tatum and Brown go downhill more, when they drive to the hoop and stop taking these step back shots, these little sidestep 3-pointers. I think they have a lot more success. And Tatum shot well from the 3-point line last night, 5 of 10. Brown, I think, was 1 of 5. But I just like when they take it to the hoop more. They do less dribbling, just take it to the rack. And I thought they did a great job doing that last night.
Yeah, I like when Jaylen Brown catches and shoots. That's the best thing he could ever do.
I like when he gets to his mid-range spot too. When he gets to his mid-range spot, that's pretty automatic for him. But when he's driving, it's kind of hard to stop him.
Yeah.
So
I'm a big fan of what Jaylen Brown's doing.
And there was,
what you saying?
No, go ahead.
Saying just he's not known as the best ball handler or everything, and he's not trying to be either.
Right.
That's the thing about Tatum that's different from Brown, is that Tatum will try to be the ball handler even if he doesn't got it that night. JB's typically not going to force it. Even if he does fumble and does his turnovers, it's just kind of him playing in the flow of the game. It's not him like taking over and saying, this is my ball, I'm going to put the team on my back. Typically, when he puts the team on his back, he just lets that thing fly.
Right, and it's weird. Some nights he's on with the handle, and some nights he's off. I feel like this year he's looked a little better with the handle, but then other times it's like he's regressing or he's going back to what it was last year or the year.
He had a turnover, I think, last series where literally he went left and like put it in the dude's gut.
Yeah, so it's just, and then
who it was against, who was guarding him, but it was so bad. I'm like, dude, man, like
I don't understand it.
An 8-year-old barely does turnovers like this. Like, I think I heard it on Bill Simmons' pod, and he said something like, sometimes like every one of Jaylen Brown's turnovers would be like the worst turnover of someone's career.
It really is. It's bad.
And they like always just beat the last one, and you're like, how? They're the craziest turnovers you'll ever see. They're like stuff you couldn't even, if people showed you a video and broke it down and was like, what could happen? You could say 5 different ways he could turn over the ball. When they play the video, it's going to be different. It's never going to be one of those 5 things. It's the craziest thing you'll ever see in your life.
Right. It was something else.
But luckily, they have 3 primary ball handlers that could deal with it. You got Drew, you got Derek White, and you got Tatum. And those guys handle the rock more. And that's just what it's got to be. There's a lot of people like myself who love Jaylen Brown and think maybe he's even better than Tatum in a lot of instances, and especially in his role. I think he's a better 1B than Tatum is a 1A.
Yeah.
That's just how I feel. Like he's a better Scotty to Tatum's Jordan,
Right.
Like he's just a better Pippen in my eyes than being he also wouldn't be a good 1A if he was put in Tatum's shoes.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But I do think he's the better Robin to the Batman or whatever, however you want to say it. But That's what I liked about JB. I feel like he's really finding his role, still being a big time scorer, but not doing too much. And
Right.
Tatum, I thought was, if he kept doing what he was doing, he would have did too much. But yesterday, highly efficient, and especially everybody's hitting shots around him, so that helps.
Yeah, and he really kept us in the game.
And he was abusing mismatches. I felt
Yeah.
like Aaron Naismith has worn down. He was giving it his all the first 2 games. He was in Boston. He was back home to where he was drafted. And I felt like he had a lot of just moxie and just ready to go. And back at Indy, it's not that same thing anymore. He's not like, it's not a FU to the team. It's not anything. He's just, now he's in Indy.
Right. Yeah,
And it loses that. Like I could imagine that brings you so much motivation to be at an arena where you thought you should be out there being one of the best guys, and you get traded away, and then now you're just this kind of cast off role player, and Tyrese Halliburton's out, and so is Mathurin.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he shouldn't be in these positions.
Right. I will say he's played a lot better in Indiana than he has in Boston now. I mean, he's found his starting role, so he's actually played pretty well.
He's worked his way into the starting role and everything, but like it's coming to an end. He had that chip on his shoulder, but there's nothing left. You're down 3-0. There's no chip.
Yeah, the playoffs is different.
The playoffs and everything, like by game 3, I think Naismith got humbled and was just like, this is just too much for me. Like I gave it my all. Tatum was struggling. He wasn't doing his best, but it kind of ran its course. He ran out of gas where Tatum probably was on cruise control, like not really going 100% and getting stopped. But he knows it's a 7-game series. He's been through enough series. He has 200 playoff games now?
Yeah, something ridiculous.
Something crazy. So I know it's over 200.
Yeah, just about every playoff run he's been on he's gone to at least the conference finals, has gone to at least the Eastern Conference Finals. So he's had plenty of playoff games, plenty of close games under his belt.
Yep.
And then
he's been down 3-0, came back 3-3, and lost to game 7. Yeah. But I mean, like Tatum's been through the ups, the downs, and all that type of stuff. So I feel like when he's getting stopped by Naismith for 2 games, he already knows. He's like, he's gonna lose. He's gonna run out of gas going that hard. Aaron Naismith's out there looking like Dellavedova, killing himself, chasing Curry around. Yep. And he's killing himself with Tatum. And like you just can't do it. It's not sustainable. And he also was attacking another mismatch because Naismith is much smaller than Tatum. But then you have Obi, who's bigger than Tatum, and it's a mismatch in his own way. He doesn't know how to guard Tatum to the best of his ability out there on the 3. And then at the same time, in transition, Obi loses him because Obi's natural instinct is to run to the block. Right. And I've seen it happen twice where they're in transition. Tatum stops at the 3-point line. Obi just keeps going. Yep. And then Tatum just gets this catch. And it's easy from there. And now it's a dissected defense that's all spread out. And they all have to try to cover each other and do all these rotations. But at the end of the day, they don't have an answer to Tatum.
No, he looked really.
I think that's as clear as day. As they're losing players, they had some depth. They had some things they could kind of work around. Tyrese Halliburton makes everyone around him better. So there's even when, Naismith has to step up and do his thing and play defense, but now he's being asked out on offense.
Right.
You got to step your game up a little more. Now he's a little more tired on defense. Now he's getting beat more. And it's just this trickle-down effect if you don't have the depth. And I think that's what's really getting exposed with Indy is the lack of depth in the wing spot. They got bigs covered. They also went big. Did you see when they went big? Mm-hmm. They had Isaiah Jackson out there. They had Obi Toppin. And they had
he was getting offensive rebounds too. I felt like I don't even know if there was a big difference in the offensive rebounds. It just felt like the Pacers had so much more than the Celtics. Mm-hmm. I felt like they were just getting beat to every loose ball last night.
I'm trying to think who was the third big. Oh, it was Siakam.
Yeah.
So they went really big last night. And they had Obi out there playing the 3, Siakam at the 4, and Ijax at the 5. Like, what are they doing? But Rick Carlisle, he's doing some tinkering, and I respect it. You got to try something.
Yeah, it
You
can't hurt.
really do.
Can't hurt at this point in the series.
Yeah,
Down 2-0.
can't hurt.
Something. The first 2 games, something wasn't working. And it's all
Especially because Nemhart was getting busted. And yeah, I mean, it's worth a shot throwing Obi out there, but he just doesn't have the wing instincts. He's a
no,
stretch big who's kind of just a highlight reel.
yeah,
He
not a great defender. He looked really uncomfortable trying to defend Tatum in that short amount of time last night.
he doesn't have good fundamentals. He's really
No,
just a spectacular athlete.
he is. He could jump out the gym.
He can jump out the gym. He can hit a corner three. He does some nice things, but at the end of the day, he's missing a lot of fundamentals, and positional defense is probably his worst part about it. Like, that's his worst stat, is positional defense, because he looks always out of position, always bad feet. Even on the three he guarded, do you see how early he jumped? I don't know if you remember it, or you could maybe look back and see, but Tatum was just toying with him, giving some little hesitations, giving some little head fakes. Obi jumps, and then on his come down, that's when Tatum pulls up.
What was that, on the left wing?
Right wing.
It was the right wing? Oh.
Yeah, I think it was on the right wing, and Obi just jumped super early. And it was another thing. You're a 7-footer. You got a 50-inch vertical damn near, and a tall standing reach. He's got really long arms. But, if you're jumping early and your timing's off, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Tatum's 6'9", and he's shooting over you.
And Tatum was able to create enough separation, too, on that shot.
Yeah, he did. He had good separation and everything, and that's what I'm saying. Obi was a half a step back. He was a half a second early. He was scared. He was probably nervous out there. I'm going to get the shot up. I just got to try to block it. Tatum's going to get the shot up regardless. And so, yeah, he's got the yips. That's what I would say that was. That looked like defensive yips.
Defensive yips. Because he's played pretty well offensively this postseason.
Yeah, yes.
Been a nice energy guy off the bench. He's been really good in the first half offensively, and then he doesn't really do much in the second half.
Nothing will be cooler than that windmill he threw down.
Yeah.
To throw down a windmill or an East Bay in in the playoffs, that takes a lot of guts.
And in just the middle of the game too.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
It was.
He could.
Good. Shout out to Obi for that.
He loved.
What else, man? Nemhart playing above and beyond, dropping 30.
Yeah, he had a great first half. 21 in the first half.
Yeah, he couldn't miss. Jaylen Brown with the quote of the year that Nemhart and the rest of the guards were looking like a fucking Michael Jordan out there. Yeah. That's what he said. That was the exact quote.
Yeah. He wasn't lying.
He wasn't lying.
McConnell and Nemhart both had career nights.
TJ McConnell, 23 points. Andrew Nemhart, 30 points. That's kind of crazy. And that's what I was saying earlier is if you're going to let TJ McConnell and Andrew Nemhart, two guys who are 6 feet and below, go for 53 on you.
I mean,
what is Luka and Kyrie going to do?
Yeah. I mean, I think I would want Tatum on Luka. I think Tatum's a very underrated defender. As much as I hate to admit it, I think I'd have Tatum on Luka and probably Holiday on Kyrie. I don't think Derek White or Jaylen Brown would be able to defend either one of those two. But then you got to deal with. I mean, you just got to have Porzingis back. I mean, that's because he has to deal with two high flyers in Gafford and Lively. And Lively's
off a sore calf.
Yeah, so this is why I'm really worried about the Celtics with whoever they play, because I think the Timberwolves are just as bad of a series as the Mavericks are, if not worse.
Right.
So
it's going to be a long series, I think, in the finals. I don't think the Celtics are going to go down and get swept by anybody. I also don't think they're going to sweep anybody.
No, I think the series will go at least 6 games, I think.
Yeah. And especially, I mean, if the Mavs clean up the Timberwolves quick, it's going to be 4-0, 4-0 on each side. If that happens today at 5 p.m., 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is the Timberwolves Mavericks game. And we'll see. I mean, if the Mavs take it 3-0, we already know what the series is. No one's ever came back from 3-0. Last year was a complete fluke. And, 3-0, 3-3, then lose game 7.
Yeah.
But, that also reminds me. Tatum is going to win the Larry Bird Award, right?
Yep.
I feel like that's not being talked about anymore. That was such a big topic last year. And people aren't talking about the Western Conference Championship MVP and the Eastern Conference Championship MVP. But,
yeah. I don't think anybody cares about it really in the NBA. How long have they had it? What is this, the third? Maybe the third?
First. I think it was last year was the first year.
Oh, first season. So
yeah, because they didn't want to give it to Caleb Martin.
Yeah, nobody really cares about it. Yeah, Caleb Martin should have won. Caleb Martin probably should have won, but
they gave it to Jimmy, and the Celtics choked away the Larry Bird Trophy, the first one.
They did.
Yeah, so maybe Tatum could get it this year. And then Western Conference, I'd say we'll probably have to wait and see who's going to win that one. But as of right now, it's looking like it's going to be Luka and Kyrie.
Right.
Are the two front runners for the award. We'll see who gets it. But it would be really cool to see Kyrie get that. And then going into the finals, we got some real beef set up. I actually like this. Like, I really do. Like, the storyline is pretty good this year. Kyrie coming in there, the guy who stepped on the Celtics logo, who was a ball hog for 2 years, never really bought into letting these young guys, get better. It was more like, you get on my back. He wasn't.
The playoffs is only year in the playoffs with the Celtics.
That too.
Yeah, I'd much rather play the Wolves. This would kill me if the Mavs beat the Celtics.
Yeah, but and it's Luka. People have always just said he's the second coming of Larry Bird. He's like the new Bird.
Right.
He's kind of the repeating number too, 33, and then he's 77.
Mm-hmm. I don't see any. I guess they do it because they're both kind of slow, but they don't have any really that many similarities in their game.
No, they're just big white guys.
Yeah, that's why they make the comparison. It's just like their games aren't really similar at all.
Yeah, they're just high level scorers and facilitators, and they're just bigger white guys. But it's a decent comparison if you really think about it, because how many other guys can you really compare them to?
But they also put up all around great numbers too.
Yeah. If I had to compare Luka to anybody, it would be a combination of Oscar Robertson, and James Harden.
Yeah, I would say James Harden too. They really have the same game where they have the ball in their hands.
Yeah, they're game managers at all times.
Yep, they have the step back.
Right, and then he's got the step back and everything.
They can
for the most part, yeah, it's Oscar and Harden. Those are probably the best comps for him. I don't really see too much Bird in his game.
No,
but it is what it is,
Yeah, but this Maverick series, the Timberwolves, they've had a couple close. They've lost by a combined 4 points. A couple of tough losses for them. At the end of the game, why was Gobert defending Luka?
Jaden McDaniels is in the cut smiling like we don't pay him to play defense.
But the thing is, at the switch on him, Gobert switched on the Doncic, and then McDaniels went back and defended Lively in the paint.
Made no sense.
That's McDaniels. You got to stay on that. I don't care. You got to do something. Or Gobert shouldn't have been on the court at the time.
Right.
I guess you would need him if
I would leave him out there.
If Luka missed the shot and you have to get a rebound, obviously he's the tallest player on the court, but you can't have Gobert defending Luka in those final seconds, or really at any point in the game, but especially on one of the last possessions. And he hit that. He had him looking ridiculous. He had him dancing. There was just no chance. And we've seen this. It's not like it's anything new with Gobert that he can't defend anybody around the perimeter. We've seen him get cooked multiple times.
Right.
And they had him on Luka, and you could just see it. Before the shot, Luka had the move. He had it between his legs. He had the step back. That's his move, and you knew it was going in.
Right. Yeah. He was in rhythm. He wasn't missing it. And then, you got the Gobert problem, And I feel like the Mavs still have some tricks they could pull out.
Right.
You could still bring P.J. Washington to the 5 if you want to go small and mess them up a little bit.
Yep.
You could try it. We've seen 6'5" Terrence Mann be the starting big against Gobert in the playoffs. And it was like 38 minutes. You know, he played like big time minutes against him. So PJ's bigger. PJ's also played small ball 5 way more and has a lot more experience than Man did. So I think PJ can stretch him out, knock down. He can go 5 for 8 from the 3-point line easily and tear it up and create a whole new wrinkle in the Mavs offense. So there's a lot of things I think Jason Kidd can do. And I would say that this is probably going to be their series to win. I don't know if Minnesota can come back. If they do, it's got to be with an injury or something. The Mavs aren't even using Tim Hardaway Jr. Like, he's getting no minutes and everything else. I'm not saying he's like a bad player or anything, but the fact that they don't even have to rely on this guy goes to show you that their team is clicking.
Mm-hmm.
They don't need some instant offense spark off the bench. And he used to be a starter.
And what's impressed me the most about the Mavericks is their defense. I mean, they've pretty much taken Karl Anthony Towns out of the series. I mean, he's been a complete non-factor this series.
Yeah.
Edwards has had, well, now this is 3 straight games where he shot horribly, or 3 straight games in 4 out of his last 5 because he didn't shoot well at all in the Game 7 Western Conference semis against the Nuggets. But they've made it really difficult on him, especially driving. I feel like just he hasn't had many open lanes to take it to the hoop. I feel like they've done a good job, just closing those gaps and everything when he tries to drive to the cup or something, force him to pass it. I think he's done a good job facilitating for his teammates, but they're going to need him to score. I mean, it's hard when you have Naz Reid being your leading scorer.
Yeah.
Off the bench.
There's at times where Naz Reid looks like the second best player on the team.
He has this series, yep.
Even last series.
Yep.
Like against the Nuggets, I was sitting there watching and I'm like, is Naz Reid their second best player on the Timberwolves? Like it's Edwards and then Naz Reid sometimes where I'm like, he does way more on the defensive end in the in-between game than Cat does. Like Naz Reid is gonna, as soon as you come up to the paint or anywhere near him, he bumps you. He's there. He's making contact. Cat is just
soft.
And he just doesn't do all the little nuanced things that you want from a big, And Naz Reid does that. He can play the 4 or the 5, and he's going to be aggressive.
Right.
He's going to be aggressive every time.
And he had a great look final possession too. Just out that 3-pointer. I wish Edwards would have taken that shot. I get that Derrick Jones came over to help with the double team with Washington when he was kind of, I don't know if he was going to pull up. Well, he didn't need to pull up from 3, but it looked like he was going to pull up from 3. I wish he would have taken that shot though.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I'd rather have Edwards pull up.
Yeah,
I'll give that. I'll say that. Like, if Edwards is going to pull up from 3, and if you really look back at what Edwards has done since his rookie debut, he's kind of like led the NBA in 3-pointers.
Mm-hmm.
Like in a way, like as a rookie, if you compare everyone from his class and on in total threes made, I believe he's first. So like he's not just this, drive and dunk and super athlete. Anthony Edwards is a sniper.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want him to pull up, I'll let him take it. Like he has 4 years of experience of pulling up on people now. I'll trust him.
I get the shot with Naz Reid though. I mean, he was 7 and 9, or he was 7 into that shot last night.
Yeah, if Naz is hot, you got to feed him. And like I said, Anthony Edwards probably knows Naz is the second best player on the team next to him.
Right, and Edwards didn't shoot well at all. He was 2 of 7 from 3 and 5 of 17 from the field. So obviously, feed the hot hand. He had it was a deep look, but it was a really good look. It was as good a look as you're gonna get at that point in the game on the final possession of the game.
Right. I love Naz Reid coming out of college. LSU. We always root for LSU players.
Mm-hmm.
The GOAT, Cam Thomas.
The GOAT, Cam Thomas.
The GOAT, Shaquille O'Neal.
Yep.
The GOAT,
not as good as Cam.
Augustus.
Simone Augustus, legend.
I think she went to LSU.
She did.
Yeah. So you got some legends. Big Baby Davis.
Yep, and Cam Thomas is the best out of all of them.
Ben Simmons.
Whoa. Well,
I know. I went cold after that. Glenn Davis and Ben Simmons.
That's the last one. Hey, Big Baby had a better NBA career though.
Big Baby's locked up. He's serving 40 months.
Yeah, he's serving. I saw that.
Free Big Baby.
Free Big Baby. He didn't do anything.
He didn't do anything. He just stole $80,000 in medical fraud.
He said hi to us. He didn't do anything.
Yo, do you remember that? I wanted to mention that.
Yep.
We seen me and Ritchie,
And Ryan.
these two hosts.
Yeah, Ryan.
We walk into a restaurant, right? And there's nobody in there. When I say nobody, I mean nobody in there. It's just me and Ritchie, and we're walking up, and there's this big ass dude there. There's a girl with him, but huge dude, like just a massive human being, is right at the register paying, and we're right behind him. Immediately, I knew it was Big Baby.
Yep.
And I'm like, yo, that's fucking big. I think that's Big Baby. You know, and I even remember the shoes he had on. He had the Air Max 97s in all black. Because I remember when they first dropped, and I'm like, yo, he got those. I said, he's a professional athlete. That's what I said. That's really what I said. As soon as we walked in, I see 6'10" dude with the cleanest 97s on that just dropped. And I'm like, all right, so this dude clearly, like, because they were hard to get your hands on. That's when the silver bullets dropped. That's when the golden ones dropped. They were like 400 plus. And I'm like, he had the chain on. He had everything. I'm like, nah, this was definitely. And then he turns a little. And I'm like, oh, it's Big Baby. Do you remember what I said to Big Baby?
You said, you said something about, did you thank him for playing?
I thanked him like he was a soldier. I said, thank you for your service. We're huge Celtics fans.
You said something about him in Boston and stuff.
Yeah, he gave some pounds and then bounced with his food. He had mad food, by the way.
He was high as a kite.
High as a kite. He
Bro.
was living at the Marriott Hotel, and he was trapping out the hotel. Now that he's in jail, you know, he can't do double jeopardy.
Yeah, his eyes were so red. Oh my God.
He was high as a kite.
It was dark.
He was there with a stripper.
Yep. It was dark in there too, and you could still see he was that high.
Right.
Lighting was terrible.
The lighting was terrible in the restaurant.
His red eyes.
He's like, yo, man, thanks. You know, it was too funny, man. It was a once in a million type of interaction where you're just alone, literally alone in the room with me, Big Baby Davis, and Ritchie, and then his girl. But it was too funny. It really was. I think we might have had Celtic stuff on. We might have been coming from playing basketball, and then like we're probably like sweaty, like who knows? And we're going to get some food, get some grub. I know we were balling.
Yeah, I don't remember what we were doing. Ryan was there too.
Yeah, but we were hungry, and we went to go get some food. So I'm pretty sure we were all balling at one point or going to ball.
We might have gone to AIC that night, now that I think of it.
That makes sense.
Remember when we went to AIC inside? Those inside? Yeah.
It might have been that day. But yeah, so that was a funny time seeing Big Baby Davis. Sorry to do a little sidebar, get off track, but
Free Davis.
Free Big Baby Davis.
Do it.
He ain't do it. He ain't do it, man. He supports small businesses.
He does.
He supports women. And that's where I run out of time and run out of things to say about Big Baby Davis.
Probably
he supports Doc Rivers.
He supports Doc. Well, that's not a good thing.
All right, I'm losing you guys. See, this is why I said I had to stop. There's no more left.
That's not what we're looking for. We don't support.
That's not what we're looking for.
Out here.
What about Siakam, man? I feel like Siakam. He had last night probably like 22 points, but McConnell's scoring more than you. Andrew Nemhard's scoring more than you. Like Obi Toppin, I think, had some buckets last night.
And I thought he's been cooking Al Horford all series too. But I mean,
Siakam's been great. But this game, I'm like,
the other guys got going though.
Yeah, everyone else got going. But you think with a max player, a former All NBA type player, championship level player, probably the second best player on the Raptors finals team with Kawhi. Yep. You expect this guy to actually have some better pedigree and to step up and not just kind of have this pedestrian night for a player like him. Like that's kind of his numbers are below his average, what he does in the regular season.
Right.
And you want him to step up, especially a night where Tatum's going off and he's being guarded by someone else. You don't even got to guard Tatum and you're not putting up more than 20 points. I want to see more from Siakam. And maybe we'll see something next year. He took the trade to Indy. Apparently, there was some wink-wink type deal that he'll re-sign in free agency.
Right.
But will he?
I don't know if they have enough with that team either. I don't know. They're a really good regular season team. I still don't think they have enough, even if you bring back, Halliburton's fully healthy, Benedict Matherin's fully healthy. I still don't think they have enough to compete with the other top teams. And I
So
don't even
you make some moves and you bring back Paul George.
I don't know.
He's on the move, right? So I've heard a lot of rumors. He wants to go to the Magic. He wants to go to Philly.
I've heard Philly the most. That's
I've heard Philly the most too. But I've heard some Magic rumors. Same with Clay. Clay has some Magic buzz for some weird reason.
I've heard that too. I've heard mostly Magic for Clay.
So what if I know he didn't like the Midwest and he wanted his whole career to get in LA. Well, what if he realizes, being in LA isn't all sunshine and daisies, and maybe he wants to actually try to win something instead of like almost winning, like should have won type stuff, like, oh, we could have did this, we would have, could have, should have, would have. That's what the Clippers are, or could have, should have, would have.
Because the bubble, if you look at the bubble, that's all those guys talk about. Terrence Mann, Patrick Beverley, Marcus Morris Sr., Lou Williams, all they talk about, if it wasn't for the bubble, we would have won the finals. You were up 3-1 in those, what was it, the semis? Was it the semi?
Yes.
They were 3-1 in the Western Conference semis. And then they said, their head wasn't it. You were up 3-1. You were up by double figures in the third quarter of a closeout game. And all of a sudden your head isn't in it. And you're going to blame the bubble as to why you didn't win the championship.
Right.
That's
and blamed it on like Lou Will got in trouble. I remember he left the bubble to go to like a strip club or something.
Yeah, they call him Lemon Pepper Lou now.
Yeah, Lemon Pepper Lou. But that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're gonna blame it on the bubble and all this stuff, like, come on. You can blame yourself because you can't say, "Oh, blame it on the bubble." That means nobody would have won the final. You know what I'm saying? Like, it kind of just doesn't add up when you're sitting here trying to blame the bubble.
And it's hard to blame something like that when you're ahead. You're up 3-1, and you're up by in the third quarter. I mean, I guess you could make an argument if they got swept in the first round or something that their heads weren't in it or something, or you could make that I don't know. You can't make the argument, but it makes more sense, or it's more logical.
Yeah.
From their stance, but I don't know. It's still ridiculous to me, and all these Clippers players still keep bringing it up as to why they should have won the finals or they would have won the finals if it wasn't for the bubble.
Right.
And that's every team's excuse. They really don't want to give the Lakers any credit for that championship. Very, very few people do.
I give the Lakers credit for that championship.
I do too, because everyone was in the same position.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't a home game for anybody. Everybody had the same limitations and whatever. I don't know. It's ridiculous. One off topic.
Commenter saying, "Go Mavs." Yeah, that's our take right now. Is we think the Mavs are most likely going to move on. Up 2-0, it's kind of easy to say that in hindsight, but if we picked our bracket, we already know. I went into it a little bit, but I picked Mavs Celtics before the playoffs started. That's my finals bracket. Who did you pick?
I think I picked Wolves Celtics.
Wolves Celtics. I could pull up my bracket. I could get that ready in a few. Is there any stone left unturned on this? I brought up the Larry Bird trophy. What's the other one? The other is Magic, right? The Magic trophy?
I believe so, yes.
Luka Magic versus Jason Bird.
Versus Jason Bird, right?
That's what it's gonna be. Luka Magic versus Jason Bird. And I think I like it. Like, it's gonna be a really fun finals. As I was saying, the Celtics beef with Kyrie, but also you got the Luka and Kristaps beef from when he was on the Mavericks, and now he's on the Celtics. And like, there's so much to it, and I really like it. I'm rooting for the Mavs because also, their organization is run a little bit better than the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves, you're going through this ownership debacle where, like, what's his name? Glenn Taylor sold the team to A-Rod and company, and then their payments are late, and they can't really afford it. And so they're, like, basically putting the team on layaway, buying it, and, like, slowly making payments to get through it. Right. And then they didn't make a payment on time, and it pissed Glenn Taylor off. So instead of selling like all of it, they got a certain percentage to where A-Rod, let's say he owns 31% of the Mavs, and Glenn Taylor still owns 30%. Well, he got pissed off through these negotiations, and he contacted a guy that owned like 2% and said, let me buy you out. And the guy was like, all right, buy me out. Glenn Taylor buys him out. Now Glenn Taylor owns like 32% and A-Rod owns 31%. So A-Rod spent all this money. He's literally selling everything he owns, everything he could do to pay for this. And he still isn't even going to be the owner.
Right.
You know, so it's this funny thing where Glenn Taylor got in a pissing match with A-Rod because A-Rod overpromised, underdelivered, and at the same time, the team is going from this abysmal team to now on the next level. And I think Glenn Taylor woke up and realized, like, oh shit, Giannis just did this to the Bucks. Same market, Minnesota and Milwaukee or Wisconsin, very close to each other. And if Giannis could win a ring, being this random 15th pick in a draft, some random kid from Greece, you have a charismatic American who is on the come up and was the number 1 overall pick. You know what I'm saying? So, like, it's really easy to market Anthony Edwards compared to Giannis. And if they could have did it with Giannis, Anthony Edwards can get it done. And I think he came to this realization, and now you have 2 owners who are, like, at odds. Mark Cuban, on the other hand, with the Mavs, is someone who sold his team, but still sold it in the right way. He owns a certain percentage still. Also, part of the deal is that he still is like the NBA president of the team, you know? Like it's not like a GM position.
Still has a good title.
He still has a good title, and he maintained being forward-facing. The new owners own the team for real, but he also is the guy with the last shot calls because they trust him. That's how you know you ran a successful business. When Dana White sold the UFC, they said, we're buying it off you, but we still want you to run it. Like, you're the guy. We just want to run the behind the scenes and we get the money. We want the profits that you make, but you make the profits. So go make us some money. And that's the same thing with Mark Cuban. They buy it off of Mark Cuban. He's such a good owner and such a good face of the team that they said, we don't want to ruin this. We don't want this to be like, oh, that was Mark Cuban's team. It still is. We just make the profits. But you still run it the way you want to do it. You still have your percentage, so you still feel like your moves are important and they do affect your bottom line as well. So he's got skin in the game. He's got enough skin in the game to care and enough removed that he could like step back and not stress as much and actually just focus on having fun and being that good face of the team to where, you know, like the Knicks still don't have that type of thing. You know, there's certain teams that doesn't matter where you are, you have that problem. It's James Dolan. Nobody likes him. Nobody wants to win for that guy. Their face of the team is Spike Lee, a fan.
Yep.
Like, but this is what I'm saying is like you have a good leader in the Mavs and a good forward-facing owner. And I think out of the 2 right now, the NBA would rather see Mark Cuban win because he's doing things the right way. He made sure the brand was intact. He got the team worse than what it was. And he brought it up from what it was. And he's also kind of leaving it better off too. And doing a service to the league and to the team and to that Texas area that wants to remain competitive because Wemby is there too. Like it's all part of this one team, one business. And I think the Mavs are good for business. It's Luka Doncic. Kids love Luka Doncic. You know, he has his own shoe. Everything's going great for him. It just seems right. Kids love Kyrie's. Kids wear Kyrie's more than they wear LeBron's. Kids wear Kyrie's more than they wear KD's.
Yep, I have Kyrie's. I don't have any.
You've had mad Kyrie's.
I don't have any LeBrons or KD's. I've had KD's. I've had LeBrons. I still have Kyrie's though.
And that's how it is with your age group and below. People want to wear Kyrie's, and I mean Luka's and like Zion's. Like their Jordan brand shoes kind of get lost. I feel they all kind of look like the same Team Jordan to me. I do like the Zions a little bit. Russell Westbrook had his thing. I didn't really like the Westbrooks.
Oh, I got the Ants a couple weeks ago.
You got the Ants. I like the Ants a lot.
I like
his first shoe. You know, it's number one. He's not all the way there, but like the market, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like if we're going to include everything, same reason why I didn't like Drew, Vegas. If everything is kind of tied together like that and money is the real motive for this stuff, I would say there's a lot of money to be made with Kyrie's and Luka's.
Right.
And I think that's it. And you need two guys. When you go into a championship, you need two guys. You can't go in there with just Anthony Edwards who's struggling, you know? He's on a bad streak, he's cold. And I don't know if a cold Anthony Edwards, a 22-year-old who's never done it before, can actually get that done against Tatum, Drew Holiday, Jaylen Brown, Porzingis, and Derek White. Like, that's the best starting five in the league. And right now you got Cat, Big Purr playing like a pussy, Cat. And then you got Gobert, who is like forcing switches and trying to guard Luka at the last second. Like, no, force the drop.
What are you
Force
doing?
the drop. Please stay attached to Lively. Hold his jersey. Do something. Get a call. Because you know why? If he held his jersey and actually stayed with them and fought to stay with Lively instead of just accepted the switch, even if they blow the whistle, Luka doesn't hit a three. They go to the free throw line and it's on Lively.
And Luka,
anything to not have Luka pull up on you, and he didn't do that.
Or you got to wrap up Luka, because Luka isn't always a great free throw shooter. He's really streaky.
Yeah,
so that's honestly not the worst thing. I guess it wouldn't be the best situation. You're up by how much were they up by? They were up by 2. So if he makes both, then you're tied. But I guess
if I'm up 2 and my option is Luka step back 3 on an ISO with Rudy Gobert, or Rudy, fouls Derek Lively in the pick and roll.
Yeah, I'm clocking Luka in the face.
You clock Lively because Lively has to shoot the free throws.
Yeah, but don't they get the ball back?
Not if it's in the play.
Oh.
See, that's what I'm saying.
If he doesn't
there's a reason why there was a switch between Daniels and Gobert. If it's in the same play, yes. If it's away from the ball and you just tackle Lively on the opposite block where it had nothing to do with anything, yeah, then they could get ball back potentially, because then it looks like a hack-a-shack. But when it's in this, like, the heat of the play where it's a 2-on-2 action at the top of the key, that's different. That's you fouling the screener. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I thought it was different because if it's a foul off the ball in the final 2 minutes, then it would be 2 free throws and the ball back.
It may, but I feel like I don't know.
But maybe like you said, if it's not intentional.
It's not intentional. That's the difference. Is it's not a hack-a-shack, but as long as they're doing the pick and roll and he's involved in the play and it's a foul, I don't think it's ball back.
Okay.
I think it's in this like the play of the game. I can't get the exact word or what it is, but I think that's what it is. I could be wrong, but if you're fouling the pick and roll, the picker, I don't think it's that bad.
Right.
I don't think that's a hack-a-shack necessarily, and it would fall under those lines. There's gray area, but I believe that's how it's actually interpreted.
Okay.
I don't know. He should have fought to stay attached to Lively no matter what. Even if he misses, you have the offense. You can get the rebound, right? The defense has the advantage even when you foul. I don't know.
Or even if you double,
it could be ball back.
But even if you double team, if they end up double teaming, Gobert and McDaniels end up double teaming Luka and Lively's wide open, he gets a dunk. You're tied.
You go to OT and you still have a little time on the clock because Luka shot it with time on the clock. So there was clearly time before that.
So there were so many different scenarios, and
that's what I'm saying. With the amount of scenarios we actually look at, and you end up with an ISO at the top of the key with Gobert on Luka, I would take any scenario over that.
Yeah, there could have been so many scenarios, and it turned out to be the worst one for Minnesota.
Yeah, it's just the worst scenario. You don't allow that scenario to happen. You do anything in your power to not let it happen. And I feel like that switch was just like it was the second quarter, and there was nothing on the line. Like they didn't seem to fight for their positioning.
Right. They just kind of, they, like you said, just let it happen, really.
And that's something I've said about Naz Reid is like, I feel like he's so smart and he's such a good, savvy player. He knows all the in-between stuff, and he doesn't let you get that positioning on him early.
Right.
He's going to beat you to the spot, and he's going to dictate where you go. You're not just gonna run freely and go, oh, we can switch here, a little fake screen, go screen, a little whatever. No, he's not gonna let that happen. I don't know.
You
That's
would
my take on it.
you would try to press up more on Luka too, because if you foul him, even if he's in the active shooting motion, you make him go to the free throw line. You stop the clock. In worst case scenario, maybe they take the lead if he gets a 3 off. But if you foul him at the 2, it could tie the game. I don't like.
Yeah,
I keep talking about. There's so many scenarios.
and Gobert needed to be another foot or two up
That's
too.
what I'm saying.
He's so far back, scared
Should have given him no space, but also Luka kind of faked him out with the little step back between the legs move. So
He did.
I'm not saying. I mean, I think Gobert obviously was trying. I don't think he could get there in time because
Maybe.
just had that step back in the between the legs move that he couldn't even get to, defending Luka the way he wanted to probably.
Yeah, but hey, he hit a 3 over the defensive player of the year.
Yep.
That is what it is. And that's the truth.
Who's never been able to defend the perimeter.
So let's
out there.
We can wrap it up on the WNBA, but I want to touch on the UFC 302.
Okay. So
UFC 302, I'd say early prelims, there's a lot of cancellations. There's only 3 fights. Lima's fighting, Andre Lima. He's a 125-pounder, and he's fighting actually another guy who's 8-0.
Was this his first fight in the UFC? This Mitch Raposo guy? I think.
Mitch Raposo, who?
That's who Lima's fighting, right?
No, he's fighting Tumendembero.
You say Andre Lima is fighting
Niam Gargyal Tumendembero.
I see Mitch Raposo for this.
Mitch Raposo, really?
On ESPN, yeah. So maybe Raposo's the replacement?
Maybe.
Because this guy hasn't fought in the UFC, I don't think, this Mitch Raposo guy.
Okay, because, yeah, Andre Lima was also supposed to fight Park Hyung-sung, and that got canceled.
Yeah, this Raposo guy has never fought in the UFC. He fought Dana White's Contender Series in 2021, and he lost.
Okay. Interesting.
So maybe he's the replacement for now.
Maybe, yeah. So it's very confusing. Also, I think Nico Price has had a few cancellations, and he's still fighting. He's fighting Alex Morono. I think we should start there on the prelim. First fight of prelim, not the early prelim. So, yeah, I would say Alex Morono is going to work him. I don't think Nico Price really has a chin. And if you're going to sit there and you're going to bang with – where'd Ritchie go? Whatever. If you're going to bang with Alex Morono, good luck.
For a second.
It's all good. But, yeah, Alex Morono, we lost all our viewership as soon as you left.
Yeah,
Nobody cares. They all left because of you.
Yeah, somebody was calling me, and then the thing went mute, and I tried to swipe up to get rid of it, and then you were still mute, so then I had to refresh and get back in the thing.
It's all good. But, yeah, Alex Morono, Nico Price. I think Morono's going to whoop his ass. He doesn't have a chin.
Yeah, I don't think that'll last all 3 rounds. That fight probably won't last all 3 rounds. The Aline Perez and Jocelyn Edwards fight, I think they had some fight at the UFC PI. Edwards gave you got to look it up, but I think Edwards gave Perez a black eye. They were scrapping at the PI. Not like they weren't sparring, is what I'm saying. They weren't sparring. She was like beating her up.
They got in like a street fight type thing?
I think in the actual facility.
Hold on, let me see. Perez.
I think it was probably sometime last year.
I don't know if I could find it.
Should come up somewhere.
Oh yeah, Perez got a black eye.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it wasn't like they were sparring or anything. Like I think Edwards just ran up on her. So there's like some bad blood going into this one.
Wow. Yeah, this girl looks rough.
Yep. Yeah, she looks rough.
I can't find the video.
I don't know if there was any video of it.
Every single picture they put up is her with a black eye too.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone actually caught it on video, but I don't know
So,
how.
oh, all right. I thought you were saying like there was a video.
No, I'm saying, yeah, I just know about the story coming out about them Edwards beating her up. So that should be an interesting fight.
It
Interesting
should be.
face off.
And that was on her last fight. She fought with a black eye.
She might have had a black eye, Perez. Yeah, she might have had a black eye in her last fight.
Apparently, she walked into the
She
cage with a
won.
black eye.
Yeah, she won.
So, I guess Perez's coach punched Jocelyn back and choked her out. And they had to pull him off of Edwards.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I
This
didn't know all
sounds
that.
insane.
I didn't know all that.
So yeah, I think her coach slept Edwards,
Yeah, this is the
put her
people's
in
main
a
event.
headlock and tapped her out or whatever.
Yeah, this is the people's main event. The
This
second
is the
fight.
people's main event. Early prelim starting at 3 p.m.
Second fight.
But I'm taking Morono. Let's go back to the prelim.
Okay.
We'll see how that fight goes. We'll see all the jokes.
I'm taking Perez. I'm gonna say that.
You're
I'm
taking
taking Perez.
Perez?
I'm gonna
I'll
take
take
Perez.
Edwards.
All right.
I think I should take Perez too, but you know she's got a lot to fight for.
Right.
But we'll
Nico Price and Alex Morono.
I'm taking Morono.
Both those guys could get slept too.
Who?
Both of those guys have gotten slept too.
Yeah, that's true.
Price and Morono. So they're gonna.
How about this next one? Jake Matthews versus Philip Rowe.
I like Jake Matthews. I think.
I think so too.
He's been on a pretty good run as of late.
On a pretty good run. Also, he lost to Michael Morales, but I think Michael Morales is like the next upcoming star of the division.
Yeah,
it's
we
like
were talking about
McGregor
that.
And Holloway lost to him. Is Holloway a bum because he lost to him when he was 19? No.
We were talking about this, a month or two ago about how Michael Morales is really on the come up, and he hasn't been talked about a whole lot, and he should be.
Right, and so I'm not gonna put a blemish on Jake Matthews' career yet, losing to him because it was a really hard fought fight. It went the distance and really proved that Jake Matthews is also like a really great fighter. He's just 30. He should be at the peak of his powers.
Right.
So maybe he's kind of capped out at where he'll be. He might not ever be like a top ranked guy, but I think he could fight in the back half of the rankings if he gets the opportunity. He's not a scrub. And I think Philip Rowe, lanky dude, but I feel like he doesn't really, he's not too aggressive. Like he kind of just sits and lets the fight come to him.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he should do way more. Philip Rowe is like, he's super long. Like his reach I know is insane. And I remember his pause. But like, for real, like I feel like with his reach, he should be managing distance. Like his arms are like as long as Tyson Fury's, and he's out here fighting at 185, and he's not really abusing that type of reach. He's got like an 80-inch wingspan or something.
Yep.
Like it's kind of insane. It's like 6'10",
yeah. And he's 80 and a half. It says
80 and a half. Yeah, he's literally got Tyson Fury's is 85. And Tyson Fury's got the longest reach in all of boxing, and he's 6'10".
And he weighs 1,000 pounds.
Right, and he weighs like 300 plus. So it's like, this is what I'm saying. Rowe doesn't use the range the way he's supposed to, and you got Matthews who's not afraid to go at anybody. So I think he's going to be all right. I think he's going to be able to close the distance, and Rowe's going to have some problems. I think that's going to be a fight that probably could go the distance, but I would even say that Matthews gets him out of there in the second round.
Yeah, I like Matthews in this one too.
And then Dawson. Dawson is like a wicked good fighter as the next fight against Joe Selecki. Dawson was it Bobby Green?
Bobby Green. It was
Bobby Green slept him.
Slept in the first round.
Slept him early. I feel like he got caught. That was my take on that fight, is that, Dawson got caught. It is what it is, and it's Bobby Green. How are you going to stop the hood style?
And he was on a great run too. That Grant Dawson, he hadn't lost in the UFC. He was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He was 9. He was 9
Yeah.
and 0 in the U.
He was on a real
Oh, he went
hot
frozen.
streak. Bobby Green, you get slept by a legend. I don't think that's the worst possible thing. I think he could bounce back from it. And if I don't know this Joe Selecki guy from a hole in the wall.
Yeah, I can't hear anything.
Just being honest. Let me see some
You
previous
there?
fights. What's up?
Are you
Can you
there?
hear me? Yeah, your phone's breaking up a
Oh,
little
I
bit. The
can't hear.
service.
I could. You're frozen.
I'm
You keep
frozen. You're
you keep
frozen.
going, cutting in and out.
I think it's you.
No, you keep breaking up.
Hold on. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who's cracking or who's breaking up here, but I think it's definitely Ritchie's. But for Selecki, he got slammed and like a knockout slam last time, and I don't know. He was gonna fight Saint Denny. He was gonna probably lose to him. He lost to Jared Gordon. He went the distance with Jim Miller. I don't know. I just don't see Selecki as a guy that's really going to do too much. So I think this is definitely going to go to Grant Dawson. And that's just how it's going to go. Grant Dawson beats Selecki. And then with Almeida, I'm not too sure what could happen there. So we'll see what happens with Almeida. The other Almeida, Caesar Almeida.
I
Have
like
you?
Kopylov in this. Kopylov has got some really good striking.
Me too. I'm going with Kopylov as well. Not too familiar with Caesar Almeida. Is he Jalton's Almeida's cousin? Is he his brother?
I don't know. There's a lot of Almeidas.
I guess there's a lot of Almeidas.
There's
So
too
I'm
much.
not too sure. It's hard to keep up with everybody in the UFC. We try to watch as much cards as possible to keep everything up to date and be as factual as possible when we bring news to you guys and bring takes. Um, But yeah, I feel like a guy 5-0 just coming up through the ranks, and he's also 36 years old. He doesn't seem to be like somebody who has too much time left in the UFC.
Right.
5 professional fights at 36, you're kind of late. You're starting
Mm,
really late.
yeah.
You could probably get a little runoff, but most likely his career isn't going to go too much further. So I would say this is probably a fight set up for Kopylov to do good. It's a good can the kick. The guy's 5-0. He sounds great, and it's a good thing to say. Oh, I beat an undefeated fighter. So most
Right.
likely that's what it is. Kopylov has been, in the UFC for some time and kicking butt. So I don't know. Go with him, but you never know. There's not a lot of tape on Cesar Almeida, and there might not be a good way to prep for him. So
A good point.
maybe Kopylov is at a disadvantage. There's things that could surprise him. He doesn't know everything what's in Almeida's bag yet. Next is going to be the main card. You got
I like
Randy
the
Brown versus Izulu Zaleski dos Santos.
good pronunciation there.
Thank you very
I,
much. Isn't Randy Brown from Springfield or something?
is he? I don't know.
I thought he was. Who
Thought
was the
he's from,
fighter who was out of Randy Brown?
I don't know if he's from Springfield.
Yeah, he's from Springfield, Mass.
Wow. Okay. I'm definitely going for him though. I like Randy Brown. I'm taking Randy Brown in this one.
Yep. Background: Brown was born in Springfield, Massachusetts, to Jamaican parents who moved to Spanish Town, Jamaica, as a toddler.
Wow. Hmm.
Yep.
Learn something new every day.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. He was born July 8th, 1990, Springfield, Mass. So he's from our hometown. I'm rocking with Randy Brown. It is
Yep.
what it is. He's probably born at Bay State. So shout out to him.
You seen the knockout in his last fight though?
Which one?
Randy
No.
Brown's knockout in his
Let
last
me see.
fight.
Hold on. I got to see who he fought. Who did
It
he
was
fight?
Rich. I don't even know how to say his name. Muslim something.
His name was.
Muslim Salikov. His first name's Muslim.
And his nickname is the King of Kung Fu.
It's SALIKHOV.
No, I found him.
Oh, you found him? Okay.
Yeah, Randy Brown versus.
Yeah, this knockout beautiful.
The guy is also 40.
It was a beautiful knockout, regardless.
Yeah, true. Share screen here. We'll get to the knockout. As we said, shout out to Randy Brown, Springfield, Mass. Finest.
What's this music?
I think Muslim picked the music. So we're gonna put up this video of you getting knocked out. We'll let you pick the tunes.
Look at that knockout.
Yeah, that was a clean right,
bro.
Clean right hand.
Who's this
So
guy?
Let's see if our boy Randy Brown can really go off. Shout out to him. He's from the field. Much love.
And Dos Santos is 37, so he's fighting another old guy.
He's fighting another old guy. This is what I'm saying. Sometimes you gotta really just sit and think. Randy Brown is up and coming dude, knocking guys out, and he's fighting 38-year-olds. They're building him up.
A win's a
They're
win.
building this fighter for something. So you just kind of take it for what it is. I mean, he could get caught. Anybody could get caught. At the end of the day, that's the truth. But this is a guy where Randy Brown is tall for the division for 170. He's 6'2", 78-inch reach, which is 6'6". And then you're fighting a guy who's 5'9" with a 73-inch reach, 6'1". Decent reach for a 5'9" guy, but still, the distance isn't there. The age isn't there. And I just don't think I think Randy Brown is a weight bully. You know, he could be a 185er easily, but he drops to 170 to truly have that physical advantage. And I think he's going to have it for this fight. Almeida versus Romanov is pretty interesting. What do you think about this?
They're both really wrestle heavy as heavyweights.
Right.
And we were talking about it last fight. For Almeida, we were talking about did they fight at UFC 300? Was that the fight? No, it wasn't. It might have been. It was, but we were talking about it pre-fight for the Almeida and the Curtis Blades fight, and we were talking about, and I think I picked Almeida, you picked Blades, and you were talking about Almeida being really one-dimensional. And then he was going, he was wrestling him. He had a pretty good first round, then he knocked him out in the second round. So I think I'm still going to take Almeida though.
What did I say about Almeida before the fight? Tell me I don't know what I'm talking about, though.
I told you. I told you it was one-dimensional. You said he was very one-dimensional. That's what I said.
But I said how he would get knocked out. I called it.
Okay, you called that too.
I said he's a wrestler, and he wrestles way too much against Blades. And you know what he's going to do? He's going to go for a single leg, and if two hands are on one leg, then that means the fighter still has two hands and one leg to use against you. And it's exactly what happened.
And no hand
down, and Blades literally just dropped hands on him.
Yeah.
If you have two hands wrapped around and your head is exposed, and all you're doing is wrapping around somebody, you're gonna get slept. That's exactly what happened.
And now it's gonna be two guys, and now it's gonna be the two fighters wrestling heavy. So just have to see who wins the battle in this one. I'm gonna take Almeida though.
Yeah, me too. I'm going Almeida. I think he's going to beat King Kong Romanov, and that's going to be the end of Romanov's story.
And he was kind of an up-and-comer, and then he lost to who did he lose to? Did he lose to Tybura or something?
Yeah, I think he lost to Tybura.
And then the hype train was stopped.
He lost to somebody too, or he beat he beat Dawkins, who Dawkins can't beat anybody. So that's kind of where I'm at too. Is like
right.
You're fighting Dawkins. You know, like.
Yeah, he lost back-to-back fights to Tybura and Volkov.
Yeah. He's not a top-level guy. Almeida still is. I think Almeida's a top-level guy. Yeah. He just didn't have the strategy to beat Blades because Blades gets busy.
Maybe it was the Brazil card they fought on. I can't remember.
Maybe.
Almeida.
But then we got We got Kevin Holland, Motormouth versus Michael Oleschik. Oleschik.
Yeah, I'm taking Holland regardless.
Right,
So
I'm taking Holland regardless. I love Kevin Holland.
Fan favorite.
And he's coming off the loss to Venom Page. But he's still doing good, you know?
Yep, that fight was so
Hard to
boring.
beat MVP. Nobody beats MVP.
So he's fighting your boy Ian Gary.
Yeah, he is.
I don't
Should be an
know.
interesting fight.
I don't know how to feel about that fight.
I
feel like
know.
that fight.
I think
I feel
Ian
like
Gary's going to
really
win.
boring.
I
feel
do
like it
want to
could be
see
really
somebody. I want to see like Rachmanov versus MVP.
That
Or Chimaev against MVP. Because the thing with MVP is he just wants to stand and throw. And he just wants a little space. He wants the little salt and pepper. Boop, 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 boop. He just wants to piece you up and tag you. He wants to beat you with points and he wants to beat you with style. And he's fun and everything. But I do want to see somebody that like brings the dog out in him, where he's really just got to muck it up. He's got to throw elbows on the ground. He's got to really do everything. He's got to scramble for his life. I want to see MVP actually pushed. I know he's a little older now, and we're not getting like the best MVP that has ever been. You know, he was fighting in the PFL forever. There's another guy, Sai Sabadu. I think is someone like MVP.
PFL, yeah, he's in the PFL.
Yeah, he's in the PFL.
He was at Bellator.
Yeah, he was at Bellator. Throws crazy kicks, crazy shit. Like those type of fighters are fun. They're just old now, you know. Like they never had their UFC run, and if they break in, even though they're having a late career hot streak, it might not be the best situation. But we'll see. I think MVP is a very unique fighter, and it could be a fun fight seeing him against a wrestler. And who knows? He might be the perfect guy to sleep a Rachmanov.
You could,
because he just has too much skill and stuff that Rachmanov can't prepare for. You know, like sometimes the timing and the angles that MVP can create, no one else can. So you can't train for that guy.
And he's and I feel like it's just going to be a lot of point fighting between Gary and MVP.
Yeah.
I feel like it could easily go 3 rounds.
Because the way Gary wins is when you finally get upset and then charge him.
Yep. He's just
got that ultimate counter punch waiting, but he's going to lead you the whole time, but it's all waiting for that counter punch he can set up, bing bong, and then that's it. And then he wins usually.
And his striking is really clean. I will say that.
Yeah. I love Gary's striking. It reminds me of a young McGregor with a young Izzy,
mm-hmm.
You know, very precise. And like strong hits, you know, when they land, you feel them.
Right. Yeah, he's quick. He is quick.
Yeah, real quick, precise stuff. Next is going to be Sean Strickland, Paulo Costa. Who are you taking?
I'm going to take Strickland. I feel like he's just going to point fight him all night and be safe, like he does in a lot of his fights. I think Costa fights like an idiot too. I feel like he has the ability to finish just about every fight, and he just doesn't. And he doesn't take it seriously. So I'm going to take Strickland.
I'm taking Paulo Costa. I think he's going to wrestle him. I've been saying this for years. Who is going to take Sean Strickland down? And no one ever tries.
With the bad knee, right?
With the bad knee. And no one usually can. You know, when they try, there's a couple people who have tried, not really. But like, if there is someone who will actually get him down, I would say it's Paulo Costa.
Mm-hmm.
Paulo Costa's wrestling and grappling is elite, and I think it needs to be respected. You know, people love to just look at him as just like a freak athlete, to where Costa is more like Almeida than people realize. Like he'll stand and throw, and he'll have fun with Marvin Vettori and Izzy, and you know he'll fight. But at the end of the day, that dude is a wrestler, and he's all about his physical strength. And I think he kind of gets baited into these fights where he has to do stand-up and everything else. But I think this time, with the type of layoff he had in the preparation, and there's also some shit talking. There's some videos he's dropping. Did you see the recent video?
No, I didn't see it.
Oh, my God. Sean Strickland is in like a leotard, like a thin little latex thing, and it's like American flag, and he's trying to wrestle. Mm-hmm. And so Paulo Costa is watching the video, and he's eating food, and like someone's recording him. He's shirtless. He's sitting on the edge of his bed just eating food, and then the video goes from him eating food to him watching Sean Strickland practice wrestling on TV, and then it's going back and forth, and then they're like, "So Paul Acosta, are you watching training footage to like, learn some tips and to try to look for weaknesses?" And then the camera goes back to him and he goes, "No, I just want to know where I could get that outfit." And he's just like,
troll.
Yeah, right. It's always a troll with Paul Acosta. And he was saying, like, I just like his outfit. I really want to know where I could buy that.
That's great.
And it's just funny. It's like, yeah, he's watching film on you. Yeah, he's studying. Yeah, he's eating good and his weight's managed. And it was just to show like everything's in control, like he's following all the processes, all the steps, his weight's managed. He's not going to come in bloated and lose weight and lose money because of that. So I don't know. I think he's ready. I think he's locked in. I think the Luke Rockhold fight has got a lot of people thinking about how Paulo Costa kind of won the fight and then let it go to decision, where he could have really finished up Luke Rockhold.
Yeah, I thought he could have eaten.
I mean, he could have finished him in the first round, but he didn't. And then he just kept letting it go. He was kind of having fun with the fight. He treated it as like a good old sparring match. And it wasn't a sparring match. It was a real fight. So he should have took it more serious. But I think, like I said, I think he's got too much wrestling. And I think he's going to stop messing around. But who knows? He's the king of trolls. So we'll see how much he trolls. And then on to the championship match. Damn. Islam versus Poirier. What do we want to see from Poirier? And what do we want to see from Islam? I know Islam's been wanting to move up. He's refusing to fight 155-pounders. Like that's Islam's biggest problem right now. Why won't you fight 155-pounders, Islam? You want to fight 45-pounders, and then you want to fight 170-pounders that you think you have an advantage over. But he's going to have to see his boy Dustin Poirier again. I remember watching the Poirier versus Islam fight the first time. He didn't come out on top. What do you think is going to happen this fight?
Islam and Poirier fought before?
Or am I thinking of Khabib and Poirier?
No, I think it was Khabib. Yeah, I don't think Poirier's fought.
Am I remembering that as Islam?
I'm pretty sure
Khabib and Islam are like the same person.
Yeah, I don't think they fought yet.
They're best buddies. They're the mentor and student, But yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll take the weight bully. I think I'll take the weight bully.
The weight bully?
Yeah. I just think it's like he's almost like a better Khabib as far as striking. That's the thing. Yeah. Khabib has all the wrestling, and he was amazing with that. Didn't really need to have much stand-up because he could just take you down with such ease. And he did that. We saw that against Poirier. And I think Makhachev has the same thing. We know Poirier is a great striker. He's a dog. But I'm going to take Islam in this one. On Poirier's, what is this, his third chance at the title? Fought against Khabib, fought against Charles. But I'm gonna take Islam in this one. And this is the first time. It's the first time he's fighting an actual lightweight, I think, since October of 2022, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm still gonna take Islam.
You're taking Islam. I want to take.
You wanted Islam. You want to take Islam?
Yeah, I kind of wanted Islam, but I do have this gut feeling that like he's not fighting 55ers anymore.
It is true. You're fighting a natural.
To avoid fighting 45ers.
Yeah, you're fighting a natural lightweight, so this is a little different. I will say that.
Poirier did climb in the weight classes. Like he did fight at 145 at one point. Now he is a 55er, but I feel like he's a better 55er than 45.
And definitely. The weight cut was too much for him.
Yeah, and I feel like he's better as like at 155. He's been there for longer than 145, and he's had more success at 155. So yeah, he's definitely not like a 145er. But it is interesting,
And Poirier walks around pretty heavy too.
Yeah, he walks around heavy. He's a bulkier guy now. I'm gonna have to take him then. I'm gonna have to take Poirier and just be excited about it and put some hot sauce on my food. I'll have to order some Louisiana hot sauce and just
Yep.
root for the guy. You know?
Yeah, it's a really interesting fight. I really don't know how it's going to turn out.
And it's a little I don't know. We had whatchamacallit. We had the Ukrainian win, Usyk, recently.
Yep, that was a bad fight for Fury, man.
It was a bad fight for Fury. Oh my god, it was a bad fight for Fury.
And
He
I
got
thought
caught in the 9th round. He genuinely got caught with something that, I mean, he stood up. He stood up for another minute, pretty much, to take the barrage.
But the ref could have called that fight too. He could have let Usyk. He could have let Usyk
he didn't
kept teeing
drop
off
ever
on him.
throughout the fight. How could the ref call it just because he looks a little wobbled? I don't know. Like, you let him fall, and then you do the 10 count. That's the way I see it as a ref.
That's what I mean. He was against the ropes. He hadn't even fallen yet. The ropes were keeping him up. And if Usyk got another couple clean shots, that might have been the fight. But I thought Fury was winning going into that 9th round, or it was close. He could have been up 1 or 2 rounds. Because he kind of got off to a slow start the first maybe round or two. He was slow, but then I thought he really found his rhythm, and then that 9th round happened.
Right. Then the 9th round happened. Yeah, I think Usyk was probably good in like round 2 and round 4. I think that was pretty much it. Like early, I don't really remember him putting too much pressure on him. You know, he was doing his little 1-2 punches and nothing special. Fury was just looping around, slapping him, doing his typical Fury thing, and just kind of flexing on him. Like, listen, man, I could tag you wherever. I can punch you wherever I want. And he was doing that for a while. But yeah, once he got rocked, everyone was kind of clenched. Like, oh shit, like Fury could get slept again. Like, he could get knocked out. Like, then the rest of the fight was tense. And yeah, I think it deservingly went to Usyk. It was interesting. And yeah, it gives some little national morale to Ukraine. But yeah, I'm going Poirier here.
Okay.
America.
You
know? So that's what we're going with. We're going with America. And if Islam wins this, I'll be damned, man. Then he'll have to fight Arman.
No, it's McGregor. About to be McGregor. Give him the belt. Give him the belt.
McGregor. Did you see the video of Arman Tsazukian couldn't rip the Conor McGregor card?
No, I didn't see that.
So he was at an autograph signing out here in LA, and let me see if I screen grabbed it. I planned on screen grabbing it, like recording it. Yeah, I got it. Let me see this. Let me see if I can text the video to myself so you can see it. I'll tweet it. I'll text it to my Twitter.
I seen his neck workouts, Sarukian. That's crazy. That's my fault. Jesus. All right, I'm on.
What are you doing out here?
I'm on timeout now. Never mind. I can't talk for 2 minutes.
I gotta mute you. Mute the mic. All right. So hold on. Let me refresh. I should have this. Come on. It's not sending quick. But yeah, with Islam, I don't know. I feel like he wants out. He wants out at 155. He just doesn't want to give up that title. So this fight might not even happen. That's my prediction. You know what? That's my prediction. Islam
that'll never happen.
Finds a way out. What?
So you think this is his last lightweight fight?
I think it's his last lightweight fight. I think he gets an injury in the next week or misses weight, and he doesn't fight. I think there's going to be a sub, a backup fighter.
McGregor.
That's my take. That's my true take. It's not Poirier. It's the backup fighter.
All right.
Yep.
It's not a crazy prediction. my eyes.
If this video goes through, I'm getting fed up.
Yeah, your video keeps blacking out.
My video?
Yeah, when I see you, it goes, then it starts buffering. Every couple, it stopped now, but it was doing it.
Okay, maybe I don't know. Maybe
Yeah,
the
there's something
internet.
up with Yeah, there's something up with your internet or my internet because it's happened to both of us, or
It
maybe
might
it's
be
StreamYard.
StreamYard.
I don't know.
StreamYard might be bugging.
Yeah, because I've frozen and had to leave twice. You've frozen a couple times.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. And then the video just keeps saying sending, but it's not sending. You know what? I'm gonna do this the cheapest way possible. Oh, here it is. As soon as I start talking shit. All right. You ready for the super funny video?
The neck video.
No, no. That's all you care about. All right, can you see it?
I could see it.
All right. They gave him a Conor McGregor card. This is at LA Sports. Tries to rip it. Can't rip it in half. Do you have scissors?
McGregor in one.
And then he crumples it instead.
Damn, that's sad. Yeah, McGregor in one.
McGregor in one. He's sleeping him in the first.
Within the first minute.
And that's not supposed to be a funny video or anything. Like, that was just taken, like, off the cuff. Some random fan just goes, yo, rip the McGregor on video for fun. And he can't.
You see how he had to,
I don't know.
You see how he had to laugh it off?
Right? He had to laugh it off and everything. I don't know. I think it's hilarious.
He was like, I wasn't even trying.
He goes, I wasn't even trying. Do you have scissors?
Wasn't even trying. What are you talking about? I don't care.
So that's our UFC wrap up for 302. We can move on to quick WNBA stuff. We've seen a terrible comp list that Asia Wilson was Anthony Davis and Alyssa Thomas was Draymond Green. You know, we've seen some terrible stuff this morning. I wish I had it pulled up. Twitter refreshed on me. It would have been some great content to sit here and roast. I'll try to look for it for next week. Maybe I could find it. But unfortunately,
I feel like the Alyssa Thomas and Draymond Green comparison is the worst because Draymond, he can't even score. He can't rebound like Alyssa Thomas. They both can pass really well. They both can defend, but I don't know. Draymond can't score like Alyssa Thomas can.
If I'm comparing someone to Giannis, Alyssa Thomas, it's Giannis. Like, that's probably who I would say is the best comparison for what Alyssa Thomas does. She can't shoot from outside. She's kind of got a wonky free throw release. Giannis isn't so wonky. But she's all about the paint. Yeah. She's a paint beast. You're not stopping her when she hits her spin in the paint. You know, there's certain stuff about Giannis that, obviously she's not 7 feet tall and dunks over everybody. But, this is the WNBA equivalent. And the WNBA equivalent, and especially because she's an MVP candidate. She's a top 3 player in the league. So is Giannis. You can't say she's Draymond Green.
Right.
She was getting MVP votes. She was top 3 MVP getter. She's getting Defensive Player of the Year awards. Yes, that's somewhat similar to Draymond Green, but nothing else really is.
No.
So I would say her equivalent is actually Giannis. For what she does and what women can't do on a court compared to Alyssa Thomas, and how men can't do what Giannis can do on a court, I would say it's that. I
could see that. That's a much better comparison.
Stewie being KD was pretty good.
I think that makes sense because they're both, really tall athletes that can put the ball on the floor. They could score, off the dribble. They can score from anywhere, from the field, 3-point line, free throw line, post, wherever. So that one actually makes sense to me.
And then there was an Asia Wilson one that they called her Anthony Davis. And for me, she's Kevin Garnett, because Kevin Garnett is better at being Anthony Davis than Anthony Davis ever will be. And that's my honest and humble opinion, that she's KG. She's got the intensity. She's got the FU to her. And that's what KG's got. AD don't got the FU. He's got the,
And she's a
I'll
leader.
pick up some big stats against a weak-ass team. We're going to play Charlotte, and I'm going to drop 38 and 19. And then we're going to go and we're going to face the Nuggets, and I'm going to have 20 and 7.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that's what AD does, and that's how he gets his averages. He beats scrubs, and that's not what Asia Wilson does.
But I think that the way they made the comparison is that them being some of the best two-way players in their leagues. So I can see that comparison. That comparison makes sense to me. But as far as leadership, like you said, Kevin Garnett and Asia Wilson are both leaders. So that comparison would make a lot more sense to me.
And that mid-range is money. AD can't shoot the midi no more. His midi came and went and was streaky. It was never good. AG had that. Oh my God! Once KG pulled up from the midi, it was over with that form. And Asia Wilson, that's her spot.
I love that shot.
Each side of the elbow, she's gonna pull up on you and hit that every time. Yep. And that's just like they have such a similar play style and game. And yeah, I don't know. I wish we could get back to this list because I could go in, like absolutely go in on it.
We go to
what was the other one?
Go to that last one. Ryan, the last one with the Ryan Howard and Devin Booker.
Oh my God. We talked
that
a little bit earlier off camera when we were looking at the list before my Twitter refreshed on me. But Ryan Howard is all about three-pointers. She's about rebounding, and she's about defense. And that is not Devin Booker. Devin Booker is a mid-range guy, and as Ritchie was saying, super efficient. You know, he's a playmaker and things like that. And Ryan Howard is not necessarily a playmaker for others. I feel like she is great herself, but she doesn't really make her teammates better at the moment. On defense, playmaker, she spaces out. She's a good teammate. I'm not saying she's not a good teammate, but her game and what the offense is designed and what the coaches are asking of her is not to be the point guard or facilitate. And that's a lot of what Booker wants to do, is be a secondary ball handler at minimum, or the primary. And he wants to create, and he's going to get a lot of shots from the mid-range, to where Ryan Howard's, a lot of her shot diet is not mid-range.
Right.
I don't know. I see that one a little differently.
Yeah, the biggest difference to me, as we were talking about, was the efficiency. It's just not even really close.
Yeah.
From anywhere.
She doesn't want to be a dimer or like that type of playmaker on the pick and roll, to where that's what Devin Booker wants to do. And yeah, they have different play styles. There were a few others. I seen Nafisi Collier is Carmelo Anthony in his, which I was kind of like,
I don't see that at all. This shows that people don't watch the WNBA at all.
People don't watch the W. Like, that's at the end of the day. People don't watch the W.
When is Collier going up in the post like that and hitting people with jabs and step backs and all this contested mid ranges?
Yeah. If I gave anybody the Carmelo Anthony label, it would probably be, and she hasn't even been able to really do all of that, but I would say Nalissa Smith is probably the closest thing to like who tries to be like Melo and has that sort of play style. She's not as effective as a scorer, but she is a pretty damn good scorer.
And Nafisa Collier plays defense.
Fee plays defense. She does.
That's another big difference too.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd say like, yeah, if there was and that was the part about the whole list, was like it was supposed to be modern players. And so like, why would you feel so constrained to call Asia Anthony Davis the best player in the league? Anthony Davis hasn't been the top 10 guy in the league for years. I don't know. Like, that's just the way I see it. I wouldn't want AD long term.
Right. Can't trust him.
I know you liked him this year. You thought for Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah,
like he's just too hot and cold. I know he played a lot more than he ever has this year, but maybe I'm just punishing him for the past like 10 years of his career and not this year. but he still just doesn't. He doesn't.
Doesn't do it for you.
He doesn't do it for me. He doesn't give off Asia Wilson. I was so offended. Like, as someone
You
who
were
really,
Wilson.
I was offended for Asia Wilson. She has her own shoe. AD doesn't even have a shoe, and he's been in the league for 15 years, damn near. Like, where is your kicks? You're a dude, and you don't even got kicks.
Got no kicks, bro.
Like, I know Sabrina got her shoe, and Asia should have got her shoe before Sabrina. But it's like, AD don't even got kicks.
Sabrina might have the cleanest basketball. Sabrina really might have the cleanest basketball shoes out of any WNBA.
Sabrina does have some really nice shoes.
I wish I could buy them.
I want to see Asia's. I'm really interested in what Asia's could look like.
Right. I'm gonna have to.
But I want Caitlin Clark's to look like some old hyper dunks. I want them to just look like a basketball shoe.
Right.
For Clark, I don't want no frills, nothing fancy. I want that to be the shoe that everyone could get to just ball in. No one's talking about colorways. It's just a great shoe.
That's what the Sabrinas are to me. Like, I feel like with the Sabrina, they don't do too much with them. They're just like, there's nothing special about them, but they're just clean. They're basic, but I don't know. I really like.
You can get fancy with the Sabrinas. I've seen some good colorways. What I don't want is like a D-Book or even a Ja. I think they don't look that good.
Yeah, they don't look like that kind of basketball shoe.
They don't look iconic. They look like some random chewed up version of a shoe that someone just thought of real quick. Like, it just doesn't look that good to me. The designs and stuff. Sabrina's is crazy. Like I'm saying, I hope Asia's is dope. And I want Caitlin Clark's to look like 2K4 hyper dunks or something, or even like the low hyper fuses back in the day. Something that's just a light shoe, very sleek, very like skinny in the design, nothing bulky. I don't know. I just want a nice sleek shoe for her. She's plain Jane, you know? Like, that's Caitlin Clark. And like, just get her a plain Jane shoe that gets the shit done. That just do the work.
Right.
You know, that's Caitlin Clark. She's gonna get it done. She'll be fancy on her own. You don't have to dress her up fancy. You know? She's plain Jane, she's the best. I can't explain it better, but you know, that's what I want. Let me find a nice hyperfuse. Here we go. This is what I'm talking about. Like, just a good old solid hyperfuse.
Yeah, those are okay.
You know what I'm saying? With the little mesh, the little holes in it. It's just a Nike shoe, but these shoes were so good. These ones specifically, these hyperfuse lows, I loved playing in them. I had a purple pair.
You got me like Hyper Chase. Was it Hyper Chase? I forget what it was.
I think I got you a pair of Hyper Chases. Those were Hardens when he left Adidas for Nike real quick, and they didn't want to call them Hardens, so then I think he went back with Adidas.
Yeah, they were black. They were really comfortable. I like those. Even though they were low top, I like them.
But yeah, like these shoes I think would be like cool for, come on, like this is the Caitlin Clark.
It just makes sense.
It just makes sense, you know?
Put her
in an all black pair.
That should be your slogan.
Here's the high tops.
I don't like those.
Yeah, these are the big man ones that when they tried to start moving towards like making like Anthony Davis's like player edition, but he never got a real shoe.
Yeah, those look clunky as hell.
Yeah, those are the high top AD ones, and they're looking ugly. And that's what I'm saying. Where Asia has her own shoe. Like
AD
actually her own shoe. I got to get back on that list. I'm traumatized from reading that thing.
Don't go back to it then.
It's like Sabrina. Like they might as well put Sabrina as LeBron. Like it might have just been just crazy.
Yeah, it was a terrible comparison.
Jonquel Jones. Oh my God! I wish Miles Turner. They called her Miles Turner. I mean, shit. The playoffs one year. Damn near.
I don't know. She's more in the paint though. She's like, she can get down.
Exactly. She has like a big outside game.
Yeah, Turner's
She's,
not.
if anything, she had a little Embiid to herself, for a little while. She was winning MVP. She was the tallest player in the league, and she's basically a guard because that's what Embiid is. Embiid's 7'2", biggest dude in the league, biggest body. Who's bigger than Embiid? Wemby's a little taller, but who's bigger than Embiid?
Yeah, he's fat.
I'm not even saying just fat. I'm saying just like width. He's got some pounds on him, but like
Yeah.
just width and girth and size, but at the same time moves fluid like a guard.
Oh,
Pull up on three, pull up on the midi, do all these things. That's Jonquel. At her best, that's Jonquel. She's going to block
right.
shots. She's going to rebound. She's 6'6". Who's taller than her in the league? There's only two people. It's McCowan and Kehlani Brown, and they're both an inch taller, and they're both too bulky to really play good and play with fluidity like Jonquel. So
Right.
I would say she's closer to that, but not anymore. She's not Embiid anymore. But during her MVP run, that was the closest you'll see of like an Embiid in the WNBA.
And now she'll pick and choose her games.
Yeah, now she's real choosy. Last night, I think she scored 4 points.
Yeah, she got in foul trouble. She got
in foul trouble real fast. She picked up 4 fouls, then she got the 5th late.
And they did a pretty good defending her though. Elena Smith did a pretty good job on her yesterday.
Yeah, she did. And Juhas is back.
Dorky Juhas is back. Yep.
Yeah. Juhas is back from her Italy finals trip. I think she got swept in the finals.
I didn't see.
The Italian finals.
Italian finals for a Hungarian.
Yep. Yeah, but she got swept in the finals over there. She's back with Minnie. And Minnesota, honestly, is looking like a real team. Miller's hurt. I had to drop Miller off the fantasy league. Everyone on my team got hurt last second. I hate it. I had 7 players from the draft night that have already been out and are gone.
Yeah, I got Brittany Sykes hurt. That's really hurt me. That really hurt me this week.
Yeah, but she started the year for you. Like
she
for
did.
me, Azurá Stevens, you can look this up. You can't find it anywhere. She's out for 8 weeks with an arm injury, I believe.
Damn.
And it's not listed anywhere. I had to find it, ironically, through Top Shot because they label who's hurt and not. And for some reason, they actually labeled what her injury is. It's hidden everywhere else. You could look it up on Twitter. You could look up on blog posts that are followed by the Sparks. You could look up on ESPN.com. The injury just says out. It doesn't tell you the length of it. It doesn't tell you anything. But luckily, I found it out somehow, and it was through Top Shot, which never breaks player news for me.
Shout out Top Shot.
Usually, I'm ahead of the curve for everything. And I had to get told by Top Shot that she's hurt and it's an arm injury. So then I went and dropped her. Jordan Canada, another one who's been out, still out with a hand injury. She was supposed to be back for first game, and she's still been out. Who else did I have to drop?
You say Griner?
Well, Griner's on my IR. She was listed out indefinitely in the preseason because they said a foot, but she said the foot will be better soon and it'll be reevaluated in a week. And now it's like been extended to a month. I can't drop Griner. I'm screwed.
The Monique Billings pickup has been really good the last 2 games.
Monique Billings. And then last night, of course, Monique Billings starts. She steals the starting spot from Siegrist. I put Siegrist on the bench, and now Siegrist goes off and has 42 fantasy points last night. She went nuts.
Yeah, and Siegrist started last night.
I didn't know she was going to start. I thought it was still going to be Billings.
Yeah, Sweaty Hands was hooping.
He's
gotten off to a really good start.
Siegrist.
He's played really well in 2 out of the 4 games.
What'd you do, 22 and 9?
Last night she had 22 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals for a total of 42 fantasy points.
Yep. And then the other game that she went off, she had like 15 points, but she had like 3 blocks. She was playing great.
Yeah, 13 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, and 3 blocks for a total of 27 fantasy points. And then in between that, she had 7 fantasy points and 9 fantasy points. So it's been all over the place.
Yeah. I know. She had 2 really bad games. But
this Natasha Mack pickup has been really good.
Oh yeah, the Mac pickup is only because she fills in for Griner, and even then, yesterday she only played like 11 minutes, and I'm like, what the hell is going on over there?
Yeah, she's been in double figures every game though.
Yeah, she's still putting up stats, so I appreciate that. Who else? I had to pick up somebody else, and drop
Uh,
somebody.
I don't
I'm
know how to.
about to drop Mariah Jefferson, and she was like my 5th pick.
Yeah, you were really high on Mariah Jefferson preseason, but Taisha Harris has taken over.
So that
Has
part
really
doesn't
taken
make sense to me.
point.
You know, the WNBA is very weird about cap and stuff. So Mariah Jefferson like has a max deal, and she's getting like 5 minutes a night. It's kind of weird. Usually, players on max deals don't play 5 minutes, especially in the W.
Right.
Like
It's kind of
she's
strange.
literally high. Like I think she's the highest paid player on the Sun,
That's
and she
crazy.
doesn't play, and she's healthy,
Yeah, she
and she's good.
played 6 minutes last night.
6 minutes.
Didn't play the previous game. Played 9 in Indiana, 11 against Washington, 4 opening night.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I didn't expect this level. Yeah, she was 43rd pick overall in the draft.
She won 4. She won 4 championships with UConn, I think.
Yeah, and she's a great player. She was getting triple
Yeah.
doubles last season. You know, I had high expectations, and I still do. You know, she still has a lot of time to do what she has to do. But I also dropped somebody for Ozun, who is the point
Yeah.
guard for Dallas. And it's kind of funny because in the draft, I could have got Tierra McCowan, but instead I picked Brianna Jones because I wanted to have a Sun player. I didn't
Yeah.
think I was even going to be able to get Mariah Jefferson
Right.
because I thought, that was a big trade for the Sun. I thought she was going to play 25 plus a night. So I took Brianna Jones, even coming back off her injury. I just wanted a little attachment to the Sun. And instead of picking Tierra McCowan because I already picked Arike, and I'm like, let me not just go all in on the wings. But ironically enough, now I have every player on the wings except McCowan. And I would have had a full starting lineup. So I have Ozun, Ogumawale, Maddie Segrist, Monique Billings, and then McCowan. I
Yeah.
would have had the whole thing.
And I ended up picking up McCowan. I got.
And then you picked McCowan like 2 picks after, and I was pretty upset. I'm like, as soon as I picked Bree Jones, I'm like, bro, what the fuck did I just do? McCowan was on my top 10. I have a big board. I wrote like a paper with my top 50 players. McCowan's in my top 10. She's like the 10th player. And I'm like, this is the 3rd round. Why didn't I pick a top 10 player to me? And I didn't follow my board. Brianna Jones was like 18th on my board, but I was just so excited for Brianna Jones. I don't know, like my fandom took over, and just being a Sun fan,
Right.
I picked Brianna Jones instead of McCowan, and it was just a bad decision. Even with McCowan out for the first month last year, McCowan was worth holding on to. So I kind of have that same feeling with Griner this year. Is like, I don't want to drop Griner. As long as she's out, I don't care. But as soon as I get her back, then I get to drop Natasha Mack, send her to free agency, and then put Griner back in.
That's like a glove.
Yeah. That'll work out. But yeah, I botched the whole Brianna Jones and McCowan pick. Botched toe.
But Brianna Jones isn't a terrible option. It's not like she's some bum. You're still going to get fantasy points, but just you're not going to get.
She's just not, she's not as physical on the boards as McCowan. And I thought she would come back and just kind of focus on, the hustle stuff, the stuff you could control, your energy. And I feel like her energy hasn't really been all there. I thought she could still get double doubles, which is appreciated in our league. But instead, McCowan is the double-double machine. And that's, again, where I messed up because our scoring of our league is based on double-doubles. So, like, McCowan is double-doubles.
Right.
Brianna Jones is not. So I botched that. She gets blocks. She gets steals. But still, it's just not enough.
And Brianna Jones also doesn't play as much because they're still bringing her back slowly from the torn Achilles last season.
Exactly. So she's getting nursed. Hopefully, throughout the year, she maybe picks it up. And things balance out, and maybe McCowan's having a hot start and she's getting too much usage. They might end up going with Soares and
Yeah,
Kalani Brown.
right. Yeah, Kehlani
So
Brown is. I like Kehlani Brown.
this is something we should just end on this. We could have a whole WNBA discussion. We've already kind of gone long enough. But if Caitlin Clark isn't there, who's your rookie of the year so far?
I know the numbers won't really do it any justice, but I would take Cameron Brink. I really like the way she's played. I think, and she's been one of the best defensive players in the WNBA to start the season. If you look at all those, advanced stats as far as defense and everything, she hasn't shown up every night offensively, and I wouldn't say she's played poor offensively. She just hasn't really taken a lot of shots. But I would say Cameron Brink, Rakea Jackson, she's averaging over
Rickea
11
Jackson.
points. And she was my pick for rookie of the year. She's averaged over 11 points per game, shooting efficient from everywhere, field, 3-point free throw line. Another one I like to say is Julie Van Loo.
I love Van Loo.
Her handle.
Her handle's
so
crazy.
With the hand. Her vision. I haven't seen many players like that with that kind of handle.
She's the new Vandersloot.
She is the new She's better than Vandersloot.
Van Loo. They got like the same name. It's insane.
And she's I think she played overseas in Belgium. She's 31. So she's
she's older.
Obviously older rookies, but you could see she has the experience. She knows what she's doing out there. I really like Julie Van Loo. And she's played really well. I think Sykes has missed the last 3 games, I want to say, with that ankle injury. And she's been in the starting lineup and she's played great. It hasn't translated in the winning because they still haven't won any games yet. But she's I would take Cameron Brink right now, but Rakea Jackson and Julie Van Loo are right there.
I wanted to show you this real quick. So Top Shot announced they're gonna drop the rookie packs for this year, or just the W packs that have rookies in them. Mm-hmm. And the debuts are Caitlin Clark, Cameron Brink, Angel Reese. I don't know why Kate Martin is having one over some people, but she's actually had a good. I'm just saying she shouldn't be listed like 4th on this list. Kate Martin listed 4th is insane.
No, Kate Martin played well last night though. She had her best game of her WNBA career last night.
Yo, she took it to the hole on somebody.
She blocked one of those. I forget who it was. One of the Sparks players. The Asian Sparks player.
I forget who she drove on though. She drove on like Clarendon maybe it was someone else. But yeah, she just took it to the cup on her and finished on the it was the left side. She drove left on her, went baseline. It was great.
A really good bench.
It was kind of funny to see Kate Martin on this list.
Right.
Probably just because she's with the Aces, and like the Aces are always hype. But you got Aaliyah Edwards, Stephanie Soares, who's a rookie from last year, but she didn't play. You know that. I'm just kind of saying that to the listeners. Rakea Jackson. But right here, Van Loo. And what do I say on it? I go to the comments. Right here. Need that Van Loo. She's been balling.
Yep.
That was 4 days ago. I really like Van Loo. And then people are just like talking about other stuff, and people are talking about the pack price. And then some people are excited about Caitlin Clark, Clark and Brink, they need them ASAP. Caitlin Clark, when are they coming? But me, you got me. Give me the Van Loo.
We know ball. We know
ball. I want Van Loo.
Kelsey?
Especially if Sykes is out for a long time, Van Loo might be a good fantasy option in fast break.
And she's been kind of listed as day-to-day, so I don't know how long she'll be sidelined for.
Yeah.
Because I need her too. I can't really, because I have Sabali on my IR.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a big score if she's healthy. Mm-hmm. So I got to see what happens there.
Yep, and I've been doing good in WNBA fast break. I'm on like a super hot streak today. I feel like it could be in jeopardy. So I have the last one I went 7 for 7. In this one, at the moment, I'm 4 for 5.
Okay.
I'm first right now in Top Shot out of 3,000 people. Well, not this run, but all together, nobody has 11 wins in
Tough.
2 weeks. So yeah, I'm number one on Top Shot out of 3,000 right now. So
All right.
I watch a little W,
No big deal.
but this one is tough. I don't know if you can see it. It's pick 5 players who will combine for 20 assists and 25 rebounds.
Well, Courtney Williams is going to do it for you. She's always going to get.
But the thing is this part is the rebound part that I'm nervous about.
Well, she does both. Courtney Williams is a good rebounder too.
Yeah, but Enrique doesn't really do it all the time.
McBride.
Howard May, I mean, she got like 10 boards last game.
Clarendon had a triple-double.
Clarendon had a triple-double.
Yes,
McBride does her little 4 rebound, 4 assists.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of tough between McBride and Gubawale, but then again, Enrique can pass too. She can get a lot of assists when she wants to.
When she wants to. But the thing is now I'll bring you to this. So you could see it, right?
Heidemann.
All right.
No, you can't
Well,
start.
Heidemann's out. I used her earlier.
Yeah, I was just saying.
I wouldn't use her anyway. She's not good for assists or rebounds. I don't care what her average says. She's not good for assists and rebounds.
All set with that.
But yeah, like Ozune, can't use her. Natasha Howard, she's out. She would have been the perfect person here.
You would have, especially with rebounds.
Rebounds and assists, but yeah, like she'd get me one of everything. Luckily Clarendon, you know, they do a little bit of everything.
Yep.
But yeah, like I already used Hamby. Hamby would have been nice.
For real. She's gotten
off
to
I used her earlier. Because she gets boards and she passes a little bit. You know, she's actually like the whole system over there in LA.
Right.
And then the only other person that I could use for boards is Tina Charles. So it's like replacing Ryan Howard with Tina Charles.
Because I feel like Howard can do a little bit of both too.
Right. And Tina Charles doesn't really get that many assists historically and especially now. Yeah. Alicia Gray, she's not really having the best season like she was last year.
Right.
And she doesn't really get the assists or the rebounds that much. She's a scorer and she plays all like the in-between stuff really well.
Yeah, so that probably seems like your best option right now.
And then Elena Smith and Juhas, now they're sharing minutes. So I don't want to use either one of them.
Right.
And then Billings, I don't know if she's going to start or come off the bench. I don't know about Segrist. I don't know.
But they both started last game.
I know they both started last game. But then Billings took her spot the game before, and then Segrist came off the bench. It's too inconsistent.
Right. They both put up good numbers.
I'm kind of just confused on like what should I really do here. And then when you scroll down, yeah, there's Juhas, but I don't know what she's doing. They even have Jordan Canada. They have her listed, and there's no injury marker on her. See, Azrae Stevens has an injury, and then you look, underwent successful surgery on her left arm while playing in China, reevaluated in 12 weeks. 12 weeks is 3 months. That's the season.
It is.
Right? Yeah. Like, she's done for the year. I didn't know that. It doesn't say it anywhere if you look it up. For some reason, Top Shot has her surgery info. Is that a HIPAA violation? Who knows? But then I got Satu out. Satu would have been great for assists and rebounds. Awok is out. She would have been decent for boards.
Yeah, so your options are kind of slim at the moment.
Miller's out, so at least there's some more like guard production from McBride and Williams. And I think the coach is playing Heidemann less, so hopefully it's just Courtney Williams and McBride out there balling. But I don't really have another good option. I already used McCowan.
Right.
And then when you go to like if you try to buy her moments, she doesn't have any rares. So like there's nowhere to really go here. I already used Nurse, and she didn't hit any threes the other night.
Yeah, she was bricking shots all night.
So pretty much I'd say my only options truly are Billings, Segrist, or Tina Charles.
Yeah, you might just have to stick with what you got right now.
What I got's good, right? Like what I really need is Clarendon and Howard to just go off for rebounds. And that's really all I truly need. I just need rebound coverage. I think assists, I'll be fine.
Right.
But like the second that I sub out one of them, I feel like that and then put a big, like if I subbed out Ryan Howard or like McBride for Tina Charles, then I feel like I might not have enough assists.
Yeah, Charles is not going to give you the assist you need.
Because this is like Kayla McBride stats. Because if I go to like her recent game logs, her past 3 games, 5 assists, 4 assists, 4 assists. And then for rebounds, 5 assists, 1 rebound, 4 rebounds. So like she's averaging around 4 rebounds, 5 assists.
Which is fine.
And if I do the average, 25 rebounds, that's 5 rebounds per player. Can Ryan Howard get me 5 rebounds? Yes. She's going to get me 5. Can Courtney Williams get me 5? Yeah.
Yeah.
Laser Clarendon? Yeah, I could get that. But with McBride and Enrique, I don't know if I could get 5.
Right. Yeah, it's
So
hit or miss
that's
with
my
that
biggest
one.
problem right now. But this is who I'm going with. And then, I think I'm just gonna just leave it at here. This is who it is. Ryan Howard, Enrique, Kayla McBride, Leja, and Courtney Williams. And then tomorrow is the last day of Fast Break. And we got 3 games. Sparks Fever, Mercury Sun, and then Storm and Sky. And this is who I got. So it's 5 players for 10 free throws and 25 field goals made. I got Mabry, Bonner, Copper, NECA, and Alyssa Thomas.
That seems easy enough.
Right? Free throws, I feel like I'll definitely get at least 5 between Bonner and Thomas alone.
The free throws are really easy.
Yeah, the free throws are easy. You just need somebody who is a volume scorer. And I think I should get that with Copper too. Copper takes it to the hole. Mabry's a gunner.
Agumake.
And then you got NECA, who always gets respected, and she's going to get a whistle by a ref.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, what I really need them to do is make 5 baskets each. And I think they can handle that.
Right. Yeah, I think that this I feel more confident in tomorrow than
I feel super confident in that. Look at the one that I lost. Tell me I didn't get screwed. 5 players for 25 rebounds and 3 3-pointers. Check this out. Nalissa Smith hits a 3 and Hamby hit a 3, but Lexi Brown and Kia Nurse, the starting point guard and shooting guard of the Sparks, didn't hit a 3. Nurse was averaging 4 threes made. 4 threes made, 7 attempted before this game. And Lexi Brown was averaging 5.5 attempted and 3 made per game.
Yeah, they both put up major stinkers.
Major stinkers, bro. And I was 1 rebound short and 1 3 short. And that's Nurse going for 2 boards and no 3s. And then Smith got benched.
Wow.
She hit that 3 in the first minute of the game and then didn't play again. For some reason, the Fever are playing Faganbele.
Yeah,
I think is how you pronounce her name.
She's played really well.
I mean, she's been doing great. There's no knock on her, but it's like she doesn't have a top shot moment. And I played Nalissa Smith, and I bought her rare so I could play her twice this round. And it's like, you got benched for Faganbele? Like, come on.
Yeah, might not even be worth it now.
I know, and it is what it is. I think over the span of the year, it'll be fine. But yeah, I got screwed over this night, bro. Like, there was only, if you go to rewards, not rewards, leaders. So if you go here, there's about 2,200 people playing.
Right.
And look at this, 5 people won.
Wow.
Only 5 people actually had a lineup that made sense. And you know what it was? It was the people that played Christy Wallace instead of Kia Nurse.
God damn.
It's the one fucking random who played Wallace over Nurse. Because Lexi, I mean, she still didn't hit a three, but technically on Top Shot, there was only so many people that had a moment. So there were only 5 threes made in total, and that was the criteria. And out of everyone in Top Shot, all the female players, only 4 hit the threes that added up to 5. So if you didn't like, there was no other lineup but this lineup that could win. This was the lineup. And usually there's a lot of flexibility. You could win with anything, any type of setup. You know, there's a lot of ways. Like if you go to last night, all you needed was 100 points. You see how there's 143, 136, 152 was the top lineup. It's like you don't need the same lineup to win. Everyone could do something different. There's diversity in the scoring. But that night, literally just the way Top Shot is, and especially because Caitlin Clark is like pulls 9 threes a game and she steals everyone else's attempts. No one's shooting. And then also the Sparks are missing a lot of people who shoot threes and that have Top Shot moments, and they weren't playing. So, and the people that did hit 0. Nurse and Lexi Brown are their 3-point shooters, and they didn't do anything. So it was a mess. An absolute mess.
Damn.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. Is there anything else? Any like early award candidates or any trade candidates you see with the W?
I like Taisha Harris has looked good for MIP, and Rakea Jackson has looked rookie of the year too. I think she's top 5 at least in voting to me.
So if there's anybody that I would say early trade candidate and also MIP, it's Hamby. I think Hamby's been
Hamby could go
good.
to a contender.
And I think
been great.
That's also part of it. If she goes to a contender, oh my God. If the Mercury can get Hamby, imagine the Mercury with Hamby. That's the only thing that they're missing is a 4. They're missing a switchable, a small ball 5 when Griner needs her rest, and a power forward. And now Hamby's hitting threes. She's facilitating. Oh my God.
Rebounding, doing everything.
She would be incredible on that team.
She would.
And is there maybe one other team that could use Hamby? It wouldn't be the Sun. I know that.
No, not the Sun, not the Liberty. Not the Aces. Not the Storm. Yeah, I don't know. I'm drawing a blank here. I don't know.
I think.
Not Chicago. Well, Chicago's not a contender.
I think it could be the Dream.
Could be the Dream, right?
If the Dream trade for Hamby, that changes everything because Jordan Canada will be healthy, let's say, in a month or less, right? So then you got Canada, Alicia Gray, Ryan Howard, Hamby, and Tina Charles. And then you got Cheyenne Parker backing up Tina Charles, and Tina Charles might end up moving to the bench and being a 6-man if that's the true lineup. And then
that's
Cheyenne
a really
Parker
good starting 5.
Her starting 5 back, and then you still have Tina Charles as this floating 6th man that you could do whatever you want with. Or you could start her and then have Parker come off the bench. But either way, like, I think Hamby could be a real weapon in the right hands. Right now, as I said, I don't think she's doing anything on the Sparks. And if she stays on the Sparks, she could win MIP. But
she could.
If she gets traded, oh my God, they're a contender. Whatever team, like, where she actually will fit, like I said, with the Mercury or with the Dream, instant threat, instant playoff contender, and potentially could push teams further. But I'm liking what I see from Hamby.
I agree.
I'm a big fan. And, oh, yeah, I fumbled the bag the other day. I didn't go to the Caitlin Clark game where the Fever won in L.A.
Damn.
I don't know why I didn't go.
Opening night.
Me and Christina were talking about it days before. We found tickets for like $25 each. Oh, it was perfect. And then, I don't know, just the week went on, and I just forgot. And then I looked at the clock and it was 5:30. The game was starting in an hour and a half. And then I go to tickets and they were $80 each for the cheapest ones in the house. So I'm like, all right,
Forget it.
like prices tripled. I'm not going to FOMO into this.
Right.
But it was cool. It was a historic night for Caitlin Clark. Got her first win. Shout out to her. 1-4, I believe, or 1-5 after last night's loss to the Aces.
Yep.
They got stomped out. Also, I didn't know there were that many back-to-backs in the W.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that.
I don't know why they gave Caitlin Clark a back-to-back against the Aces for the second game. That was like torture. Like she looked defeated. She looked like she wasn't having fun.
She's had a really tough schedule to start her WNBA career.
She has. But that's all I got. Make sure you put in the Morono Matthews Dawson parlay.
Let them know.
Let them know it's hitting today. It's hitting. Book it. But all right, Rich. We'll catch up next week on Too Generic. Any last words?
Timberwolves in 4 in the finals.
So the Timberwolves are beating the Mavs, and then they're going to sweep the Celtics.
Timberwolves in 6, man. I took the Timberwolves in 6. That's why I took for the conference finals. Timberwolves in 6, Celtics in 5. So.
Then Celtics beat them in 5?
No, I had the Celtics
beating the Pacers. The Pacers get one.
Yeah, I originally had the Pacers getting one before the series began, but now it probably seems like they're going to take it in 4.
Okay.
But
all right. We'll see, but until then, go Celtics, and we'll see y'all in the finals.
Adios.
Adios, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Much love.